Scenes.
With Z.
Hello,
Ladies.
and gentlemen.
We're back.
We're back,
We're back again.
We're back. And we're on the attack.
We're on the attack this time. Welcome back to our episode of Scenes, but we are in the action.
We're in the action.
We're reporting to you live from the fucking trenches, bro.
Sure, yeah.
I was actually about to say I'm Graham, but not as a joke. I was actually just going to say I'm Graham.
You're him today?
Yeah, I was just going to become you today. I decided.
Okay.
So I am you, and funnily enough.
I'm Graham.
What's
I'm
your
actually
name
Graham.
again?
I'm actually him.
He is actually Graham. Like, not even like jokingly him. Like, he is literally Graham.
Last time I checked.
And we're live on the scene of a Star Wars project.
Yes, so you know what it means. That's going to be spicy.
There's fucking flak shrapnel.
Yes.
It's fired overhead. I've got athlete's foot and I've got trench foot at the same time on separate feet.
Damn. It's a strange and horrible existence.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, Graham.
Man, pigs raining from the sky.
Look, we're here, man. We're here to talk about Star Wars. That is what we're doing.
That's what we're doing, and you know what? Someone had to.
I think someone had to, because there's not enough white guys talking about Star Wars on the internet.
There's not.
I think.
Absolutely not. And I'm glad to be part of them though.
Well, you're glad to join the ranks of white men complaining about Star Wars.
Yes. In varying degrees of complaining.
Can't like Star Wars anymore because of woke.
Bro, I can't believe, they're right.
Graham is based and trad pilled, and I'm a woke cuck.
And somewhere in the
Liberal
middle,
cuck.
somewhere in the middle are all of you.
Somewhere in the middle, a Star Wars was made.
Yes.
And what was that Star Wars, Graham?
Today anyway.
Star Wars.
We're going to speak about The Acolyte.
Disney Plus is The Acolyte. Leslie Headland's The Acolyte.
They decided to release a show finally.
They made a show. They made something in the Star Wars universe and they released it, which is just it's catastrophic. It's earth-shifting.
It was.
And it wasn't just anything. It was an actual attempt to do a thing. It wasn't Luke Skywalker. It wasn't Darth Vader. It wasn't Stormtroopers.
No, it was like, we're going to do like a wee interesting thing on the side. Jumps in.
Yeah, you ever read a book?
Have you ever read a book?
Have you ever read a book?
In the Star Wars universe? Yes.
In the real world, definitely not.
No.
So yeah, that's where we're at. We've watched The Acolyte.
Yes, we have. I'm a couple weeks out. You don't remember it more than me probably, but I remember kind of what I want to speak about.
I mean, you've watched it like a week? You say a couple of weeks out, like a week or two ago. I watched it when it came out, and I definitely
2 weeks ago.
remember it better because I'm plugged into the fucking Matrix, bro.
You are.
It's bad enough I have the autism superpowers, but it's also Star Wars, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to be
True.
here anyway.
Fact.
The Neurolinks kicked in.
Bro, you were in there since day one. So that's what we're going to do. Ewan's going to kind of walk through a little bit. I'm going to piece out maybe some bits I want to speak of. Unless he wants to go a different way with it. Yeah,
because this is a fact find. This isn't... I mean, it's kind of like our usual affair, but we're going to share feelings, but we're also... Graham has alluded to me that he has some complicated, or maybe not complicated, just feelings that he wants to, as he says, walk through, and then we'll sort of challenge them. We'll give context. We'll revel in it. We'll think about it. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So The Acolyte it's a little show. It's like an episode show. It's set in the Star Wars galaxy, but it's set a spicy circa 100 years before the Phantom Menace.
Yes. So therefore, the earliest Star Wars
it
canon
is canonically
currently
the earliest visual Star Wars medium
yes.
we've had so far.
We've had the High Republic books.
Yeah, so it derived from the High Republic Publishing Initiative.
Which is POG.
Yeah, which is POG. So that is a series of books, comics, audio dramas, a whole manner of little non-visual medium.
Yes.
Well, I guess comics are a visual medium. You know what I mean? Sort of live action, filmic.
Yeah.
Visual medium that they've been up to these past. It's been a while now.
They have been up to
5-6 years now. I think they've been at
COVID days when it
launched.
launched.
Still not even ending till next year.
Yes, I need to go on that.
And that's its own big narrative, and it essentially paints the world again. Roughly 100 years, although what's interesting is the Acolyte is essentially the end of the High Republic, so technically the High Republic books and that is still another 50 to 100 years before the Acolyte.
Yes.
But it's still an era. Everything's actually good. The Republic is cool. The Jedi are cool.
Yes. From what I've read, the Republic in the High Republic era hasn't become fraught with political issues.
That's why they call it High, mate. They are spliffed up on
Spliffed up, bro.
the good, quite literally. The good karma.
Bro, the Jedi out here just being Jedi.
The Jedi are like, what if we go out and help people? And the Republic are like, man, what if we extend political growth in a positive and like positive way?
Go, bro.
And some fucking lads show up, some bikers, and they're like, fuck that.
We're going to cause some problems for you.
Like Marchion, I think they confirmed it, but I forgot the confirmation.
Marchion Row.
I like Marchion. I like how pronouncing my C's and K's.
The Nile.
It's like Fallout New Vegas, where like it's like Kaiser. I know that's like
Kaiser.
the Latin way of saying it, but like I just like saying Kaiser because it sounds cool and like Caesar salad. You know what I mean? When I say Caesar, I'm like, man, I have literally ate you on the side.
I pronounce it my Kaiser salad because I'm saying that.
You are a full Legion player, aren't you? You're at your fucking. You're like, do you want a Caesar salad? And you're like, oh, very true to Kaiser.
Yeah, the waiter looks at me like I'm fucking insane. What do you mean, bro?
No. There's what you're talking about. You're like, this Kaiser is marching for death, and the Legion obeys. Oh fuck. Yeah, I mean, we're not really even fully to talk about that. I think we could ruminate on that one day once we get a bit further into it. I've not really read anything. I have a couple of the books ready to go, but I'm hard to get through books and that is how I am. You have actually read some stuff, haven't you?
I have read the first book and a bit of the second book.
Well, that's ahead of me.
There you go.
You've read The Light of the Jedi, which was the first adult novel by Charles Soule.
Yes.
I mean, I guess quite. What did you think of it? You liked it, didn't you? You
it was a really good start. Slowed down a bit in the middle, picked up at the end.
It's got ebbs and flows. Just a story, mate.
Facts, bro.
Events were happening.
Had some good scenes in it. It was a good time.
It
was a good first Star Wars book, I'd say.
Oh, that's a really good point, to be fair, especially since it's the first of that whole initiative, like as a gateway to reading Star Wars books, because it's also not reliant on other things. I know, like, you probably know who Luke Skywalker is when you read a book that's got Luke in it, but it's all adjacent to Luke. Whereas this is like, no, here's just a completely fresh thing. Like, when the writer is writing, the things are being created as the writer is talking. Whereas when you read, like, The Princess and the Scoundrel, which is about Han Solo and Princess Leia's wedding and, like, honeymoon, it's about like, right, well, that's after the movie Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi, which is a character created by George Lucas and a movie directed by, like, Richard Marquand. Like, yeah. So I don't think that makes a big deal, but it still helps as a fresh entry point. Not that you'd start Star Wars with it, but you know what I mean. You could, aye. I have read. The only thing I've actually read, I just wanted to tell you that this is. I've read like the first fucking like 6 or 7 chapters of the second adult novel of Phase 2.
Damn. Because
it's phased releases as well. So they did Light of the Jedi, Quest of the Jedi, and Trials of the Jedi.
Which is the last one we're in.
Which is the one we're in right now, which is like going to be the end of the main story and the situation where, as Gray mentioned, the Nile, these raiders, Marchion Row, who are like threatening the peace. Phase 2, interestingly, was actually a flashback. It goes like back another like 100 fucking years before Phase 1. I was at Star Wars Celebration. I like to drop that. I like to drop clout. And that was when the book Convergence or Cataclysm, was it Cataclysm? It was Cataclysm. Yes, it was the book Cataclysm came out. And they were selling like a special Celebration exclusive edition with like tinted page edges, and it was signed by the author. It was Lydia Kang, maybe. It was signed by the author. And I was just a bit like, fuck it, yeah, okay. Like, Celebration exclusive merch, let's go.
Go on.
And I would sit and read it in the queue for things. I read literally the first 3 chapters, waiting to try and get into, like, I think it was like the Ahsoka panel or something. And it was actually really good for what I read, even though I was a bit like, I don't know who any of these people are or what is going on.
Man, straight lost.
Who's Murder Row? What is Iram and Erino? Like, I mean, I kind of know now, but that's from, like, Alex Star Wars Explained, you know, from someone opening up the Google Doc and being like, yeah, okay, this is what happens in the book Convergence, this is what happens in the book Cataclysm, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I mean, even for me jumping in there, I'm like, it's meaty, there's characters, there's descriptions, because it is all fresh and new and interesting. Which is, even pulling back to the Acolyte, one of the first biggest things to look at with the whole High Republic concept. It's so fresh and new, which is something that we've been clamouring for. Even the people who like, you can obviously like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and like the Star Wars movies and that.
Dude, pog.
But I think you're impossible to pretend that next to that also something brand new, because you don't want to be fed the same stories for the rest of your life.
No.
There's only so much. It's like the comics. There's only so much that happens between episode 4 and 5, so you can't keep doing the same stories.
Yes.
Unless you're with new people. So like that's why Outlaws is like, okay, well that's a completely different person, a completely different part of the world. Unless Luke Skywalker's an Outlaws, and if he is, I'm going to be very upset about that.
You know he is, bro. Accept it.
Darth Vader will pop up. I think Darth Vader will better, actually. That's a good point.
Vader's good, man.
Vader's cool. I mean, Vader is cool. I think the problem is that
gets about
Star Wars in general, maybe more Disney, But Star Wars in general has a habit of just being like, do you know you'll like Darth Vader?
Bro,
because he's
I'm
cool.
fine with that.
I have a bit of a line. The comics, for example, are good. They just keep spinning their wheels. Charles Soule's Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith was top notch from end to end because it had a fucking point and it covered an important period and had shit to say. This new comic that's been doing, it's not Kieran Gillen's one. I can't remember who's currently writing the Darth Vader comic.
Could not tell you.
But sorry.
Could not tell you.
Could not tell you. You don't know comic writers. You don't know what comics are. It's not good because it's just every single arc is just Darth Vader gets really grumpy at the Emperor, and the Emperor's like, I'm fucking gonna shoot lightning at you, and Darth Vader's like, oh, sorry, master. And the next time he's like, but what if I try this instead?
Oh.
And it's like we get it, alright, Darth Vader's angry at the Emperor, and he's gonna keep failing because he can't win because Star Wars Episode 6
That's just
of
how
the
it be,
Jedi
bro.
is that.
That's just how it be.
You're just banking on, oh, do you know who's cool? Darth Vader.
That's what you need to do, man. Recognisable IP.
I don't think it's, like I say, I don't think it's bad. It can be good. Dark Lord of the Sith was the second Darth Vader run, so it's a bit like, oh, we're going to do another Darth Vader run, and it was one of the best comics they've ever done, so
there you go.
You have the ability to make it good. I just think, yeah, the High Republic was such a fucking amazing thing, because they're like, bro, we're just going to go balls to the wall, we're going to completely define a new era,
Some new
shit, tech, new characters, new fucking world orders and that.
Aye.
So they carried that energy. To the Acolyte, they were like, okay, we're going to do a show. Leslie Headland of Russian Doll fame was getting tapped on, and she's like, I got some fucking plans. We're going to do a show.
We're going to do some shit.
We're going to do a mystery thriller, like a murder mystery
kind of like
type beat. And essentially this show, obviously spoilers, but this is kind of told us from the start that this show is kind of fucking about with what's going on with like the dark side. Because the one thing about the High Republic books, at least so far, is it's like the Sith do not exist at this point, or the Jedi do not believe the Sith exist.
That you know of.
That's how you get your Ruler 2 background shit, but the Sith were not making moves. They were just trying to survive. So the Jedi were like flourishing. And the Nihil are more like crazy raiders with fucked up tech and that.
But, connections.
There could be. There could fucking be.
Some force sensitivity,
I
perhaps.
think they might bring it up in the last books, maybe Trials of the Jedi especially. Just like, by the way, Markion was getting funded by like Darth Grumpus. And Darth Grumpus has got this apprentice called Darth Scarius. Because there's a lot of time between like High Republic and Acolyte and Phantom Menace. It's not like they can just be like, oh, and his name is Darth Plagueis. I'm like, is this fucking guy again?
But that guy can't die famously, so.
But famously, it's true. He could have just been alive forever. He could have just been like Bane's apprentice. Fuck the Ruler 2. So yeah, they do the Acolyte, and it's interesting and it's cool. I saw the trailer at Celebration as well ages and ages ago. I felt like it took a while to come out because we had like a full complete trailer for like June 2020 for May 2023.
Right.
And we didn't actually see any dividends until June 2024.
Right.
So
when it came out.
I don't really know what Disney's up to. It's the same thing with Skeleton Crew. That show doesn't exist. They've only just shown some pictures and we're going to bring it out in like November. I watched a full trailer for that last May. Like Jude Law's in that using the Force.
They're getting ready for it. They don't want to like market it too early.
Do you think it's also part of that whole like we just want to slow down a wee bit? They're like, I know we've got all these shows ready, but let's just pace it out a bit more. Because we're trying to slow down in general and make more and do better.
Probably.
So let's buy us the time.
It was made in the time when they were making more.
Exactly.
So like that's why they're sitting on it probably.
This is maybe more like, alright, Dilly Acolyte and Dilly Skeleton Crew. We'll give Andor time to cook because everyone likes Andor, so we need to make sure that's good because it's Andor, which will be good. Come on now. But that was also made during the strike, so that needs its time a wee bit. And then they can also try and make a movie, which seems like a concept at this point. A Star Wars movie.
I guess.
In year 2079.
They should have one.
Man's coming back to the cinema. I watched Chicks Notes, The Mandalorian and Grogu.
I'll see it.
I'll watch it too, but I won't be happy about it.
Wow.
I'll be scowling the whole time, so you know I don't approve.
Outrageous.
Bro, I'll be too busy watching Avengers Doomsday.
Aye. In the same day.
Bro, there's the fucking Oppenheimer.
If you had to pick one.
Doomgoo.
Aye.
Avengers, the Mandalorian and Avengers.
Grodoom.
Grodoom. Bro, that wee guy is mad Doom. Fuck that little green cunt.
Wow, man.
Yeah, sorry, I lost myself there. My rage for Baby Yoda is permeating every facet of my being.
Hates him, man.
They go through this and they release it and it comes out, as they do. They made the show and they released it eventually.
It's true.
And we watched it and it was, I think, pretty fucking cool.
Okay.
And good.
Okay.
I think I would say it was not as good as Andor.
Nah.
Nothing is as good as Andor.
Well,
I would say it was not as good as The Mandalorian season 1.
Wow, man.
I would say
They're high
was
bars, to be fair.
as good to me as The Mandalorian Season 2. Probably better
Okay.
because Season 2, I've still got that residual. Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, they say Grand Admiral Thrawn, which is not good for proper critique and proper analysis, but to speak as a little fuckboy fanboy
Oh my.
JOing. I loved it when Bo-Katan showed up and I'm like, I know you were in Clone Wars.
Bro Pog, Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan just said Ahsoka, I know you were in Rebels and Clone Wars.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's a bit on par with Season 2 of Mando for me. Probably
Okay.
higher. I think it
Wow.
was in the upper. I think you're talking about a 7 or an 8.
Giving it a 6, man.
You're looking at 6 now. You're thinking about 6.
Probably.
You're
I
starting
don't
at
think
6.
the rating will move. Maybe it will, but I think a 6 right now. Better than how many Star Wars shows have we had? Andor, Mandalorian, Obi-Wan. That's it.
We've also had Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, I guess. Right.
The fucking face
Do you know
Graham
what?
just made
I think
there.
it probably is.
Just the
Aye.
fucking stank eye. Like, literally just what are you talking about?
Aye, so let me rate them down. Andor, 1 ofs.
Of course.
Mandalorian, I've enjoyed all 3.
I really appreciate you putting Andor 1 and not just because I would do that. You're not just
No, it is just the best
You're
one.
not just like kowtowing at me, especially because you were you were a bit more hard at getting Andor than I was.
I was a slower burn than normal.
But you get to the prison arc, you're like, she's the best TV show I've ever seen,
It's peak
possibly.
cinema,
It's
it
up
was
there.
good. It was really good.
But you love Mando. That's completely fair. Would you say you hold all 3 seasons of Mando equally?
Not equally, but I'm putting them all in 2 because
Okay.
I think they are, even all 3 of them. If it is like, if we're rating them individually, it'd be like Andor, season 2, 1, 3 probably. Then I'd put Acolyte. Then I'd put Ahsoka, then Obi-Wan.
You'd put Obi-Wan below Ahsoka?
Nah, swap them.
Ah, good. Okay, thank God.
Aye.
I was worried there for a minute.
Because, even though Obi-Wan just wasn't what I needed, or wanted to look
It
at,
definitely did not meet
it
expectations.
definitely had cool fanboy
There was something
moments.
in it.
There was some things that
There just
happened.
wasn't anything in Ahsoka.
There was, but it just wasn't
Oh, no,
what I
Ahsoka
wanted.
was dripless. It was sauceless.
It was tripless. It had some sauce.
I mean, the sauce was just like sauce acquired from other places.
That's fine, man. It was still
Like
sauce.
Chopper was sauce, Hera was sauce, but like
Oh, villains were sauce until the ending when it wasn't the cool villains, it was the other villains.
you were like, oh fuck. Well, no, what do you mean? Do you mean like Thrawn and that are
Yeah.
the sauceless, or
Yeah, they're sauceless. Yeah,
you think Grand Admiral Thrawn is sauceless?
and Ahsoka, man, was sauceless. I haven't even watched those episodes, so
I was gonna say,
can't
I don't know
even
what you're talking about, bro. I really do like Ray Stevenson, God rest his soul, and
That's what I
Ivana
mean, bro.
Sackno. I looked at a picture of her face, and I
Man
think
brought
you're
the heat.
so pretty.
Man brought the
And
heat.
you're so cool, and you had absolutely no character.
Fact.
I'm so sorry. Same goes for Ray Stevenson.
Sabine ruined.
They were
LOL.
They could have.
Everyone ruined. LOL.
Any moment in time, I could complain about the show Ahsoka. It's always there, Graham. It's always
So-
at the tip of my tongue.
So we'll skip it today, but that's
Well,
the range. That's
yes.
where we're holding it. Middle of the tiers.
I mean, especially. I mean, if we're talking like, at least it's on the dividing line. I mean,
Aye.
again, Obi-Wan does have some minor drip and pizzazz, but you've got like the Book of Boba Fett
Oh, bro, I forgot about that. I actually think I'd put Book of Boba Fett ahead of it, to be honest.
ahead of Acolyte.
Yeah, because Book of Boba Fett had shit I liked. Even though Boba Fett wasn't exactly what it should be
Wasn't
normally,
really in it. Like,
and it wasn't really about him.
but you also really like the Mandalorian, to be fair.
Mandalorian
So
was in
see, as
it.
that is
Cad Bane showed up with
season
his
2.5
penis.
of Mandalorian. You
Exactly.
were like, well, I just chuck it with Mandalorian
Do you know
crowd.
what? I probably could have done
Would you put it above or below season 3 of Mando?
that. It's probably below.
Okay.
Probably same or below.
Shit take, but alright. Yeah, it's fine.
Wow.
No, I mean, I've now officially allowed Graham to be a fan of season 3 of Mando, but
Thank God, man.
my distaste for that season is well documented.
Wow.
That sounds so rude, sorry.
It's okay.
I've decided
I've
that Graham
allowed
is
it.
allowed to disagree with me.
Yeah, I've accepted it now. It's okay. Aye, so a middling show, I think that's where it should be, and that's how I feel about it at the
Well, I
moment.
think at the very least for a dividing line. I mean, obviously Andor's going to be the top no matter what peak. And then Mando has its varying degrees. But you, as someone who likes Mando, is like, okay, Andor and then Mando, which I like, and then Acolyte.
I guess, yeah.
And then after that, it's the others, the dregs.
The others.
I think the problem is, I think there's a steep quality gap between Acolyte and then Obi-Wan and then Ahsoka.
Speaking about it, before we've even really spoke about it, TM, it's making me think, why is Acolyte ahead of Obi-Wan? Because, spoilers for the discussion about upcoming,
Okay.
a lot of the characters in Obi-Wan I just like more. And it's not because they're necessarily more likeable, it's like I just don't like a lot of the characters in Acolyte.
Okay, well...
The things I like about Acolyte are like, the Jedis look cool, the fights are great. That's like about it, to be honest.
Well, I think, first off...
Not all of them are unlikable.
Well, let's start... Well, no, we should dissect it. I'm actually going to start with the easier one first.
Oh my god.
We're going to talk about aesthetics. So, like, first off, just Obi-Wan is very ugly.
It is.
It's a very ugly show. They brutalised the volume in that show.
They were using it a bit too much.
Just very, you could literally see the screens, do you know what I mean? Maybe not, but you literally... That bit in Jabim, where it was like, you could just see the Stormtrooper actors and then the massive gap. And I'm like, bro, what's going on there? Why is the volume like this as well?
Yeah.
Acolyte, meanwhile, did this thing called building sets and going to locations.
Yeah.
They did use the volume. You can tell them a couple of times. I think the forest on...
The one with the Wookiee.
Yeah, that's the one I can't remember for some reason.
That's alright.
Brendok's the witch's place. Olega was the one where Torben was. I can't really remember the one that Indara was. That's fine. This is just me trying to remember Star Wars trivia. I bet you'll come back to me anyway. But yeah, some of the fight scenes there, you can kind of see, okay, they're clearly working in a circle, like they can't go beyond the circle.
Right, okay.
But altogether, they just did the visuals a lot better, first and foremost. I think that's just an indisputable fact.
Right.
And that's coupled with things like costuming as well. And that, Obi-Wan was like, first off, Ewan McGregor and Obi-Wan outfit just does look cool. And they had like the Inquisitors.
Aye.
Maybe I'd still believe the Grand Inquisitor was a little pied. And I'm not going to be like a doomer about it, but it does look awkward compared to...
doomer, they sucked.
Like, compared to Rebels and compared to like a Pound from episode 3. Whereas, the amount of like fucking beautiful robes, different characters, different aliens. As someone who's not like, oh, Star Wars used to have goofy aliens, that's why Andor was not as cool as it could have been, because it was a bit not silly enough. But I still have to admit that.
Right.
Like, there's a fucking Plo Koon walking about and a fucking Ki-Adi-Mundi. Literally, actually is Ki-Adi-Mundi, I should say.
Actual Ki-Adi-Mundi.
And like a Wookiee Jedi with like pure shaved hair. There's a Sailcath in this in the background. It's like, oh, dude, Knights of the Old Republic. Like,
bro.
It looks very good. It looks like a proper Star Wars.
Aye.
I don't really recall a lot of hiccups with the visuals. I'm sure there was, but you know what I mean. Choreography as well. You cannot fucking deny the sauce.
The fights were sauce.
The fights were absolute fucking sauce, I think.
Fights were saucy.
I think episode 5 is probably some of the best I've ever done in Star Wars. That was the fight in the forest.
There's some good shit in there, aye.
And I really personally liked 8. I don't think it's as good, but I still think
it's less flash.
Pretty much. Plus, that was a bit off, so there was like maybe 1 or 2 people. The one in the forest has like 6 and 7 folk in it. That's like a fucking brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, stuff like that. And again, Obi-Wan wasn't bad, but I don't really recall. The final fight with Darth Vader was cool. It's unfortunate it was on a nameless grey planet and everything was grey.
That was still saucy though.
Mush and CG, but it was still saucy. But they didn't really have much else to really compete with that. I can't recall like the original fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader was kind of a bit like slow.
Really fuck the Inquisitors up very much.
They didn't, no. Like, think about Star Wars Rebels, those fuckers were flying about in helicopters and fucking doing kickflips and that. Like, that was your episode 3, that was your like prequel fights. So Obi-Wan kind of lacked on that a smidge, which maybe didn't necessarily need it, but as people who like seeing cool fights,
yes,
especially you as a very big Jedi lightsaber fan,
would have been nice.
You're probably like, well, yeah, cool. Like, Acolyte has this, so I'm going to say that's Pog.
Those are the bits I enjoyed the most, probably.
I would say so as well. I wouldn't put that even past you. If I finished Acolyte, I'm like, kids would fucking love these lightsaber fights.
Damn, bro.
Right, but let's unpack the meat then.
The meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes. That's the story and the characters. So, there were full spoilers. This is a murder mystery, and I know we do spoiler warnings, but this is a murder mystery. So this is one of those ones where, by proxy of simply talking about it, it is even more spoiler than others.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because but the reveals are part of this.
Yeah.
But it's a sort of a murder mystery. You basically get presented the tail end of the High Republic. Sort of Jedi are good, and the Jedi are cool, and they live outside, but someone has begun killing them. A Jedi has been attacked and murdered. Trinity from fucking Matrix was killed.
Carrie-Anne Moss ruined in this show. Upset.
Carrie-Anne Moss ruined in this show is a fucking statement by a coward. I'm
just saying, like, wasted, man.
Bro, if you only watched episode 1, maybe.
Still, actually, like, 3 appearances wasted.
She's getting a book. Don't worry about it. Her fucking fight scene was so good.
It was, but then it was over. And then I didn't see her for whole episodes, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Bro.
I was actually shocked when they killed her.
I was actually happy she came back. I was worried she wasn't going to come back and be as cool as she was.
I'm happy she came back and was cool, but
I'm very happy as well.
I was like, bro, fucking would like to see more of you.
I mean, I won't fault you, but for me, that's
Upset.
personal bias. That's just like, I wish I saw more of Trinity. Trinity's cool. Like,
It's also sad because like by the end I was like, man, she was like one of the only characters I liked. Like, wow, brilliant.
bro,
Can I see her again?
Can you
Fucking
just
rip.
like hold your poster and go, that was a great cat. Read the book.
I was happy with that. I was
Pick
like,
up
cool.
Wayseeker coming soon.
I might, because she was cool.
You might. It's also good for Nestra in it. We'll get to.
I don't like her.
That's a High Republic can of worms. Yeah. So like, yeah, Master and Dara is killed by a sort of an assassin.
Oh,
We basically get.
it's
I mean,
that
I actually don't think there's any reason for me to go. Well, maybe I don't know. Would you like to go beat by beat? Not. I mean, I don't need to go super into it, but like, would you like us to walk through the plot?
Sure.
I guess I'll talk about the characters by proxy.
Sure. As they pop up,
Yeah,
I can tell you my immediate reactions to them.
So we're basically introduced to the main character as a girl called Osha.
Osha, yes.
As a flunk out of the Jedi Temple. She's sort of was trained to be a Jedi, but she left. She left the Jedi.
Yeah.
And she's called in because someone who looks exactly like her killed Dara.
Right, first issue.
Fuck's sake. Fucking hell, bro.
Right, now this is only an issue because it's later done exactly the same way to clear her name, right? So, like, Yord in, what's her name? Daphne Keen show up.
But no, Daphne Keen actually doesn't show up to get
So
her in the
Daphne
first
Keen?
scene. It's Yord's apprentice,
That's
Tassie,
what it is, aye.
who
Right,
is
so
never in the entire rest of the show, which is a definite issue.
WTF.
Like, Yord's Padawan just fucking ceases to exist.
So Yord shows up and is like slinging his big Jedi dick about, and it's like, oh man, you're in trouble.
I love the rules.
Yup. And I'm like, well, listen, if you would check the camera footage of this ship, you'd know what she was in. And later on in the show, they do something very similar to that, and then clear her. And I'm like, well, we could have just like sorted this.
That's fair.
And it would only have been an issue if they didn't do it later on.
Did you not say that she wasn't on the ship though?
No, she was on the ship. That's her defence. She's like, I was in with him. Check this.
They
And
were
I'm
like,
like,
did you come with us? And
great.
she was like, I was busy, but it was a bit like,
So-
okay, but you're busy on the ship.
I marked it and I was like, you know what? I'll let it slide. I'll let the plot, like, I'll suspend my disbelief. But then later on in the show, I can't remember exactly what it is, but they do like exactly that or something very similar to just clear her. And I'm like, well, guys,
I'll give you that.
that's a nitpick. But I was like, man, we're not in a great start.
I think back then though, it was maybe more of a
And I was upset Carrie Ann Moss had just died.
the
in front of me.
concept of that's fair. The concept of the twin was completely off the card. Spoilers.
I mean, I
Right at the first scene, it was a bit like, well, it definitely could have been my twin because she's fully dead, but it's also someone who looks exactly like me, so who else could it have been? So
aye.
I think at that point I'll give them slight pass because they were completely trying to avoid the twin thing. So it's like, well, it doesn't really matter if we've got footage of you. We'll have to assume it's doctored because someone who looks literally the exact fucking same as you, especially because Yord knows her.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, Yord also gets introduced. He has a sort of a character. You're a character you have opinions
He's
about.
a character on
Yord
the show.
Fander. I am a card-carrying member of the Yord Horde. I love him. I think he's a fucking asshole. I think he's a stick in the mud. He steams his robes. He's a prick.
He is a prick.
He's a perfect.
He's a new wave Jedi.
Yes, he's a perfect sort of look at what the Jedi. He's the sort of the tease of what the Jedi are becoming.
He is an issue.
He's a new wave. He's a bit too dogmatic. You know, he's coming off of like the sort of kind of the hard militarism of like dealing with an IO threat.
He's part of the like Jedi, like the politically trained Jedi.
With that too, you know,
to come.
I think the High Republic will show us like the books. Like by the end, the Jedi had to militarize a bit and get a bit more involved with politics, but compound that with the ego of still being an area of peace, ostensibly. So Yord's a bit like we are the holy sacred responsibility. You know, we are like uptight. We have to follow the rules.
We are the protectors.
We are the protectors. We are above. You know, Yord kind of puts himself above. Yord's a bit like Mace Windu.
We are law.
He's a bit like Mace Windu in that he's a bit like, you know, civilian.
Mace,
they actually make a kind of a pseudo reference when he sort of I think he calls Osha a civilian, which is a reference I think to Clone Wars when Mace calls Ahsoka a civilian. Because she quits the order, he's a bit like, well, civilian, you're not really part of our matters, are you?
Damn.
And I'm not saying the Jedi should let civilians walk about, just, you know what I mean? It's an implicit holier than thou behaviour.
Comparing it with Mace as well, because Mace is obviously better.
Mace sucks too.
No, Mace.
Fuck Mace Windu.
Mace is part of the issue because obviously man walks right up to Palpatine and is like, bro, if you're arrested, and he just kills him.
I was going to say.
So
well, I'm just gonna get involved.
He is a problem. He obviously is also part of that like political dogma that the Jedi are entrenched in.
Yeah.
Up through.
That's as the Jedi going there. This is what that show is. It's essentially your
early
first
doors, and then by the end we're fully in it. Like they're already infected.
Yeah, aye, no, 100%. Like by the end of the show, you're a bit like, right, you understand now there is a bit of a problem. You know, the Jedi have maybe, there's a couple of things that should be looked at here that we're not looking at, and that's the seed. The seed of issues, and it's the seed that will also get preyed upon by like forces like Palpatine and that, because it's not simply just the Jedi were going to be permanently soured. They sort of got lost their way a bit, and they opened themselves up to sort of being preyed upon. So, do you have an issue with him? You said
I'll tell you this.
You don't like Yord.
I'll tell you this.
But I think you're not supposed to like him.
He's one of the characters that I grew to enjoy more as the show went on.
That's good.
At the same time, a lot of the other characters decreased in my estimation.
Fucking what? Are you fucking crack smoking pipe on?
I'm fully serious, bro. Bro, I'm fully serious.
Oh my god, how are we supposed to untangle this fucking Madam Web? Like, right, so they take it away and they're like, there's a murder going on, you look exactly like the person
we need to take you to the temple, come to Coruscant with us.
What happens? I think is that when her ship like crashes? She gets put in like a fucking prison ship.
Yes.
And it crashes. She runs away and she gets chased down by probably, I'd say, one of the most meaner characters as well. Her former master Soul.
Master Soul.
Jedi Master Soul, played by jung-jae.
Yes.
Who is very cool. He's very Qui-Gon.
Right.
He's very chill. He's kind. He's loving.
He's an issue.
You know from the start, he's clearly like, something is going on.
Something sus.
Even when they're not talking about it, you know, it's a bit like, nobody can be this nice and perfect.
No, I believe that.
What, that he had an issue, or that he believed that he was nice and perfect?
No, I believe that he actually, like, it genuinely was from the heart.
Well, to be frank, it was.
Like, he is a nice guy.
I guess his issue doesn't necessarily go against it, just more of like you can't be this nice without a drawback. There has to be a catch.
I suppose.
And it's not so much a catch like, oh, by the way, I secretly like fucking hunt gerbils. It was more like you sort of, you have made a mistake and you're hiding a bit of a darkness or an issue.
That is the problem, man. He could not accept his darkness.
Well, pretty much, aye. Great Jedi? Oh, no.
He's not a great Jedi at all.
Soul comes and gets involved, and I'm going to probably skip bits here. I suppose I'm talking in and out a wee bit.
Okay.
Soul goes to get involved with his Padawan Jackie, played by Daphne Keane.
That's Jackie.
That's Jackie's his Padawan, but she also knows Yord. They kind of bump a bit.
Aye, they're obviously like trained together and stuff.
Jackie's kind of fun because she is also new wave, but she's a bit like that thing of being trained by a better Jedi. No offense to Yord's master, but
Jackie's like along more Ahsoka lines.
Yes, she's got a bit more energy. She thinks a bit more. She's got a lot more of a bolder perspective.
She'd definitely be more open to like other paths of the Force.
Definitely.
Whereas Yord is like strictly doing only what is perceived to be light Force.
Yeah, he's very much like, the Jedi, we are the sort of the guardians, we are the protectors. It's our way of going about it.
I will do only what's told of me to do.
Yord, I think, would make the same mistakes that like Soul and the rest of them made.
Nah.
You don't think that?
Yord would do what Indara did.
No,
absolutely.
I think Yord would be a bit like Soul, would be a bit like, I don't quite process
Soul,
this because it's not...
Soul gives in to his feelings and his wants. Yord wouldn't do that.
Do you know what? Yes, Soul is a bit repressive of that,
yeah, the only one that stands strong is the Wookiee and Indara.
Yeah, they had to mind control the Wookiee to deal with that shit, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, do you know what? Yord would be a bit like that. I think Yord would... I don't think he's quite as wise to be like Indara, but he would be a bit more...
He would definitely be like, Vanessa told me to stand here and collect plants. That's what I'm doing.
Do you know what? That's a good point. Yeah, Yord would fucking collect plants till the cows came home.
Aye,
I'll give you that. Yeah, okay, definitely.
Because he might not, even if he understood what could potentially be from the thing that is on the planet. I can't remember what it's called.
A vergence.
If he understands the vergence and like what it could mean and be, he probably would still be like, I've told them about it.
I have to report this to the council.
Yeah, I need to report it. Vanessa's saying, cool, just leave it be.
So I'll leave it be.
And that's it.
Yeah. He doesn't have that lust for like adventure and that sort of calling to a higher purpose that Soul... I mean, this is sort of dabbling in Soul's sort of secret and what happened, but yeah, Soul has a bit more of a, like, I'm looking for something greater myself, I'm looking to matter and to really contribute to the power of the world, you know. I think very highly of all this, but at the same time, I'm allowing that to cloud my judgment of things.
Let his selfishness win.
I was going to say, it's definitely selfishness, but it's also a selfishness born out of, like, at least a good place. Maybe he's a bit thinking too much about himself, but it's not like a lust for power or control or anything bad.
He sees like opportunity.
He's desperate to help. He's desperate to do good and to do something noble. He's desperate to do something noble. I'm also just trying to parse out my thoughts. We'll come back to that, of course, but I'm not forgetting the whole thing, but I want a bit of guidance, so I'm going to bring up the episode listening quickly. But so goes with JK to get Osha.
Yes.
And they have a bit of an emotional reunion, because, as I say, they were
it's like, cool,
Master and Apprentice.
And they're like, oh my god, Thingy's alive. Can't remember her name.
So Osha's like, do you know what? I think May is alive.
May is alive.
And May
my
is
twin sister.
Osha's twin sister. Now, I am really, really happy that they did not drag that shit out. I was worried that they would try and drag the twin shit out.
Right.
Because if you kind of just pay attention to like the trailers and the posters, they do a lot of duality.
I think it was fairly obvious with two separate people.
Well, exactly. But the problem is, I feel like certain movies and TV shows, especially Disney, have a tendency to like really just essentially spoil the reveal for you, but then act like it's a reveal.
That's fairly certain that trailers do that, so that makes sense.
So I'm happy, that they were like, no, it's twins. They kind of, at the start, were a bit like, that's what I was saying, on the ship, they're a bit like, oh, but I don't know, maybe May's dead, what could be going on here? But it's like, you basically got the bare minimum required doubt out of it to be like, she's a twin sister.
Yeah.
Who it goes to a rocky sea-based planet with a deep connection to the Force. That's not Acto. Last Jedi fans found screaming in a ditch.
But it is the same planet.
It's not. No, Leslie Henley actually had to come out and say it's not Acto, and I'm like, fuck.
Basically, it is though.
Well, it could be. There's a different planet that would make more sense to me, and it would be cooler if it was.
Okay, probably that one then.
But she goes to there. May's alive. She's up to something.
And she meets a cloaked figure.
A stranger. The stranger. Some might say.
Aye.
Saying some spooky shit, wearing a creepy mask.
Yeah.
And then the episode just ends.
Yes.
And I'm going to quickly get in my fact here that the first 4 episodes of this show just end. They just sort of stop. The scene is going. I guess it's a concept of
it was like we're doing cliffhanger shit.
Well, yeah, I get why they did it. I think maybe the way they did it could have been better. Like me meeting the stranger. I guess it's like the reveal of like a creepy Sith man.
Ending. I didn't think that was that bad.
I didn't think it was bad. It just feels a bit like okay, look, the credits are rolling now. Like I feel like they could have had a bit more of a concrete thing or a bit of dialogue or even the visuals. Like May's just sort of walking towards him and then it just star wipes to the credits.
Yeah, well, man says he's be fucking mantra for the Acolyte.
Oh yeah, that's evil. We need an Acolyte. Evil. The Jedi suck ass, and I'm Pog.
To kill a Jedi without a weapon, like that kind of shit.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say it's bad. It's just I noticed it. Alex, Star Wars Explained, said it feels like these episodes, the first few episodes, kind of just stop. All right. And I agree. It's not bad. It's just a bit like it didn't feel
for
like
the first one at least.
An actual ending of an episode. It just feels like we hit the minimum runtimes. Just hit the stop button and they'll come back next time.
For the first one, I don't agree, but I don't really remember how the second and third ended.
That's fair. I think the first one was the best of it. I believe the third one, the one that introduced Kelnaka, was literally just like, and there's a wiki in the woods. The credits.
Yeah, I guess.
And I'm like, okay. What's he up to? Who's he?
Man, we're establishing that he does not fuck about.
He definitely doesn't fuck about. I'll give you that. Episode 2, we go to Olega. That's one of the planets I remembered.
Olega.
Where May comes after another Jedi called Torben.
Yes.
Played by Dean Charles Chapman, who's fucking Tommen for Game of Thrones. He's the kid that threw himself out the window.
Nice.
She tries to kill him, but he's sort of all forced up. He's deflecting blows.
Force-field bubble.
He's took the Barish vow, which was one of those
silence.
like. Sorry.
Vow of silence.
Well, it's pretty much.
Vow of meditation.
The Barish vow is a thing for the comics and the books. So that was one of those like, oh, Leslie, that was a wee bone for us. That was a Charles Soule, the Barish vow.
Okay.
It's when a Jedi believes they've strayed away from the path of the Force.
Man, it's from the Blade.
Well, it was the first appearance was in Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith.
Right.
It's a guy who's like, oh, he's took the Barish vow, and then there he's explained that the Barish vow was named as in the Blade because the guy's friend's Barash. Right. And she takes the first Barish vow, obviously. Which is that I don't believe in my ability or my interactions with the Jedi and the Force. I'm going to basically isolate myself until I feel comfortable to reintegrate. That I've processed my trauma or that I have something I want to do or say and I can trust my own judgment again.
Man, I feel like there's another Jedi in the High Republic that would do that.
Are you saying that? Do you know, or you just can't remember the name? Or
I don't know, but the one that's mad attuned to the Force and is like, bro, there's something bad happening, and then something bad really happens. At the end of the light of the Jedi. He's pals with the main Jedi lady.
Waver.
Aye. They're
Fuck, is it the one that's
they're
kissing
really close.
Her?
Aye, a wee bit. He wants
They've
to.
literally put out a romance novel recently. Temptation of the Force it's called, and I'm
Beautiful.
pretty sure it's just a romance. It's not Elzar Mann, is it? I've not read the book, so I don't know my names yet.
I don't know. It might be. It's the one that's like mad attuned. I feel like he would do that.
It's either Elzar Mann or Stellan Gios, maybe?
No, it's not Elzar then, because there's no Stellan. He wants to like he like is definitely open to the Force in all its functions and capacities.
Okay. He's interesting.
He seems to be like I feel like the Jedi are like, you're like getting a bit squirrely and off book here, bro. You're going a bit dark slightly, or what we perceive as dark. But he's like, I'm just exploring the Force. That's what we're meant to do, no?
That's how they got my boy Sifo Dyas.
See, that's what I think's gonna happen, because he could do that.
I think he's gonna either go a bit too far and maybe have like a realization the Jedi are gonna like, nah, bro, we need you to be a bit more on the team. Yeah,
maybe that, or he's like
like
in order to like in order to become like more powerful or like explore better, I'm just gonna like take this vow, because like that seems like a good idea.
That's fair. Yeah,
I would enjoy that probably.
We initially thought the vow was like the first Jedi to take it was a guy called Kirak Infala.
Right.
That was the one for Darth Vader, and he is literally just on a fucking mountain alone, fucking doing shit with the Force.
Pog, bro.
But like Torben is just like in a temple with other folk. He just doesn't talk.
Aye.
Which I think is fine. I don't think that's a problem. I think it depends on what you want to go about it. May eventually sort of gets up to. She does have a little accomplice, a little fucking gremlin boy.
A little fucking gremlin boy.
Called Chimere.
Yes.
Who's played by Manny Jacinto for The Good Place.
Okay.
And he gets her on poison.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like you said, the main sort of thrust of concept so far is that like May is trying to kill these people for some clear reason. She says as much that she's like, you're gonna pay and get revenge.
Aye.
But also the stranger's like, hey, like you need to do it without a weapon because I want you to become an acolyte.
Aye.
But she killed Indara with like knives or lightsabers and shit. I think it was her knives.
Yep, it was her knives. Aye.
Torben, she eventually has to settle for poison. She's like, I can make a poison.
It's the only way.
But this was one of those moments of super intrigue because she takes the poison to Torben.
Yes.
And she doesn't like get it past the barrier herself. She sits it down and she's like, hey, like, I know what you did. And he's like, good point, and drinks the fucking poison.
Aye.
And
it's
I'm like,
more like we're unveiling the mystery to you slightly. He's like, I've been seeking like solace for what we've done for all these years.
Vow of silence.
What we done was super fucked up. I can't believe we done
drunk
that.
Poison immediately, and I'm like, what did you do then?
Yeah.
So that was a hook. That was a proper mystery hook.
And then our gang catch up.
Our
gang catch up and lay a trap.
Our gang, yes. I was going to say our boys. So
at this point, we've got quite a few on the
trail. So we've got Sol, Jackie, Yord, and Osha. You know, once they get Osha, Osha's like, we're going to do this. It's May. Let's go get May. And they realise that okay, they went after Indara. Obviously, because of this untold backstory. So I was like, okay, well, they're clearly going to go after people
on the mission.
There's 5 people on this mission.
Yep.
Or 4. No, it was 4. Yeah, Indara, Torben, Kalnaka, and Sol.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm
Sol.
Sol.
The only ones.
And Indara's dead.
So it's either Kalnaka
or Torben. And I think they were like, well, by the way, someone was spotted looking like me on Olega, and they're like, well, that's where Torben is.
Let's go. Or they just were like, where is Torben?
Aye.
So we'll go there first.
They sort of go after that one. They do sort of talk a little bit about the concept of what happened. The first bit of the backstory is peeled away.
Right.
Which is, there were twins, May and Osha, on this planet Brendok. These Jedi came there. Mm-hmm. May started a fire that killed their family.
Right.
And the Jedi sort of saved Osha.
Aye.
From that. That is the basis we're given.
That's what we know.
Now, basically, after May gets in and sneaks in and kills or convinces Torben to commit suicide, everyone's also in the room with them. Now, that's one of those sort of moments. Again, I know you said the whole camera thing. I appreciate that they didn't fuck about with Yord being super distrusting. Yord's initially a bit like, right, well, all the evidence I have is like that you did do it.
Aye, he's no like blind.
Yeah,
he's like, man, she definitely wasn't her.
Essentially, yeah, like the guy dies and then she sort of goes to see the guy. They don't know, but they sort of feel it. So she goes off to look and Yord follows her. And then she's like, oh, the guy's died. And Yord's like, okay, well, I'm not a fucking idiot. I was with her the whole time and the guy's dead, so she didn't do it.
It's like, no her, bro.
So definitely something's going on here. And they basically, as you say, they lay a trap. I think they what did they do? They chase Chimere back, I think. Yeah, Osha basically sort of retraces their steps back and poses as May to get to Chimere, and then they grab him and they set a wee trap for May.
Yep.
There's a sort of explosive combat scene.
Sol and May have a wee showdown.
Yeah, they have a bit of a cool showdown. This is where the whole, like, the way the Jedi fight in this show is really cool because they do not go straight for their lightsabers.
No, because that's a lethal.
It's High Republic rules. We are not trying to escalate. We're not trying to go straight to lethal.
Yeah.
We don't want to turn this into our weapons are a bit more sacred than that.
Mm.
So we're just gonna use extensive karate and creative use of the Force.
Yeah.
Which is Pog. Fucking Pog.
Yeah, that's cool. It looks really nice.
But like they May does escape. She does see Osha. Osha fails to shoot her. She kind of is a bit like, because this is the first time they have actually seen each other.
Yeah.
And it's about like, okay, you literally are alive. It's you and my twin sister who I thought died in a fire.
Uh-huh.
So Osha has a shot but misses. But she is angry because she does wholeheartedly believe May killed their family.
Yes.
And but May gets away and chases up to sort their Kofar, which is where Kilnaka is.
Yes, aye.
How are we feeling so far, Graham?
We're feeling fine. Yours grew on me slightly because, like you said, he's shown like he's not like fully.
He's not such a.
He's not fully trying to stitch anyone up.
Yeah, he's not an
an
actual fanny. He's listening and paying fucking attention.
Yord will like a bit more now. Saul is still like fine. I'm like cool. He's got a cool fight scene. Like, I like this Jedi
he's just
so far.
Obi-Wan Kenobi'd up the nut. He's just constantly saying nice things to people.
I like this Jedi guy. He seems cool. Jackie's based. The fucking weird chemist guy is like cool. Chimera, he's like fine, cool.
He's
So
a bit silly.
He goes with May.
He does go with May.
May, I like May. I like May.
Oh, he likes May.
I like May. She's got like good reason, I guess. We don't really know the reason.
We don't know the reasoning yet,
but she's got a good reason.
She seemingly has pathos. She believes in this.
Osha, like I understand, and that seems fine right now.
Okay.
I
think I'm starting to understand what your issue is, and I even think I get it, even though I don't share your concerns.
Man,
but
Ewan just hates my opinions.
I do not.
I know, I'm joking.
I do not hate you. I just hate you.
I know.
As a person.
It's hard to like me, I understand. Like
when you're so pretty, it's nothing but easy to love you.
Damn.
With a face like that, you launch 1,000 ships, mate. Kisses. Okay, so we get to the flashback episode. Episode 3
is that what that is?
That's a flashback. It's the first flashback episode.
Is it?
Yep.
Is it? Oh,
yes.
It's the first flashback
I'm
episode.
Reading the Wikipedia article.
Sorry, yeah, right. So this is the first one.
Flashback episode.
This is the episode of May and Osha's childhood.
Yes.
Right.
They're like, okay, we now know they're both there. They're both on the plane. We've heard about the story.
We're going to Kilnaka, but before we get there,
let's quickly
here's some backstory.
So Little May and Little Osha are from planet Brendok.
Yes.
And there are fucking witches on the planet.
There are witches. Dathomir witches?
Well,
one of them is a
Zabrak. So definitely it's a Night Sister sort of vibe, eh?
It definitely has Night Sister vibes.
I think they're deliberately I think Leslie Headland was inspired by.
It's certainly a different kind of magic.
Yeah, I think it was like, because in Star Wars, even though the Night Sisters are the face of it, there has just always been other magic things that isn't just the Night Sisters. I mean, when the Night Sisters were introduced, there were multiple clans already.
Or all the magic is
all
using the Force.
It is all the Force. It's just how you work your way into it and you tap into it. You know, these witches refer to it as like the thread, and how you sort of control your place on the thread and how you pull on the thread to affect things.
Yeah.
And it's very vague in a good way, because you're a bit like, they sort of portray them in some ways a bit spooky.
They definitely don't want to over-explain it.
Exactly. Well, they don't want to over-explain it because then it depends on how you form your opinion. Because these witches are a bit weird. They're all very like, they're only women allowed. We're super protective. The Jedi wouldn't like our beliefs, and then their beliefs are a bit like, we're going to take you to like the evil hole and we're going to make you one of us. But then it's a bit like, what does that actually entail? Like, is that really that bad?
Doesn't seem that bad.
It looks a bit spooky, so we just assuming it's spooky, which is relevant to the fucking plot of the show. The fact that it's a bit like, is it spooky? They also seem to be lovely. Osha and May's mother, Anastasia,
the leader,
the leader of the coven, is cool. She's got some really cool philosophy about how the Jedi do not control the light. To say if the Jedi die, the light dies is vanity. Can you feel that, Ray?
That's everyone.
And we watched this episode and I was like, oh, this tastes like The Last Jedi.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh. They were very much on that. And, you know, she's lovely. She's like, I'm a bit like, I don't know, but like, she's lovely. She's cool. She's interesting. They start to really pepper in a bit of the lore. When, as you say, there's Mother Coral, who is like the co-leader, or like one of the highest level.
Yes.
Who's the Zabrak lady. And her and Anastasia are basically like, hey, we made them. And you're like, well, you can't do that. you two are whimsies. You both have a Varguba. Like,
But made them.
how does baby?
Force, bro.
How does baby? So it's a bit like, oh, they
Magic.
They did some force shit. A lot of the Jedi find out. Like, they could be fucking weird about it because they're the Jedi.
They're weird, aye.
So it's like, oh, okay, what's happening there?
Mhm.
Now, of course, Chud's Online decided this ruined canon forever
Right.
because some mystical force shit happened to create people, and that can only ever have happened to Anakin,
Right.
which I disagree with, just for the record. Especially because how it factors into the finale, and the character we know is in that finale, and sort of what he would go on to do, which I'll get back to. It would be this point.
All right. So you think that perhaps the figure at the end is instrumental in what's happened here?
No, I think, well, okay, he could be, or at the very least, he could see what's happened here and be like, hey, I can do something like that. I can get up to that.
I think that's better if they're involved, because I think if the Force just made it, it would cheapen Anakin slightly.
If these guys,
No,
if the Force just made more, the Force itself, well, yeah, I definitely think that, no, that they didn't just happen. I think
that's what I mean.
The witches did stuff, and it's this Vergence thing, which again it becomes more relevant, I think, in the second flashback episode when they explore the Jedi side of things. But like whatever mystical shit's going on in Brendok, that it was manipulated by the witches to have this happen.
Aye,
I do like the idea that like this concept, it's like a foreign concept. It's like a weird witchy cult out on the fringes of space.
Right.
So like this figure from episode 8 of the show is like, oh, I've found this, like, essentially it's like discovering an ancient tome from a lost tribe. It's like, oh, this one really weird cult of witches did this.
Right.
I'm going to take that and make that a Sith thing. I'm going to do that for the Sith. Because I think this figure did kind of get involved with Anakin. Anakin, really? I do think, is of the Force. But to be fair, I also think he...
no, because I think he's pure of the Force.
Well, I'll explain
like, he is the chosen one.
I'll explain to you a bit more. But essentially, and I believe in Legends, they actually say this.
Right.
That he is of the Force, but the Force made him because of what those people were doing.
Well, yes, because the Force is like...
It is a
power, and as we know from Clone Wars, it is a power that is aware of both light and dark sides.
Yeah.
It has a father, a fucking mother, all that stuff, the weird things that are in the Clone Wars episode.
Yeah.
So it would answer something. If something was out of balance, it would answer it.
No, exactly. So that's exactly whatever those characters did.
Yeah.
Made Anakin happen.
But
they didn't physically make Anakin, but they just created the environment that created Anakin.
But so
if they didn't do anything, Anakin wouldn't have happened.
What I wouldn't like is if someone directly outside of the Force itself was instrumental in creating Anakin. Do you know what I mean?
And unfortunately, that's something that the Legends and the canon never officially sat on.
That's fine. You don't have to sit. You don't have to say.
No, I know, but
like I would not like it. Aye.
The one single thing to bring it back far enough to Charles Soule's Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. There's a shot in that of like Anakin going through like the Force and having some experiences as Darth Vader, like the fucking Force realm, and it shows like a ghost of Palpatine, like shooting fucking magic at a pregnant Shmi, and I'm like, are you implying that Palpatine did Anakin? Because I wouldn't like that.
No, because that would I would ruin it a little bit.
I think it is more metaphorical. I think it is that
like
Palpatine created an environment that created Anakin.
Right.
But I think what's going on in the Acolyte is kind of like these characters going like, oh, we could do shit with the Force that could potentially make things like that happen.
It could be, it might not be, but it could be.
I'm not saying they looked at me and Osha and were like, we could do that and make our own guy, and it was Anakin.
Aye.
More like why don't we try this shit? Why don't we try getting involved? And they basically stung at the Force so much that the Force were like, right, I'm going to create a person, but it's to fuck you fuckers up. Stop doing that.
Like, maybe we'd need to know like how May eventually gets found or is involved with the Stranger.
Correct.
Like, that is where the sticking point would be. You need to know how they come into contact.
Well, it's also a bit like spoilers for episode 8, but the Stranger doesn't really know, because the Stranger himself reacts to when he discovers that there is a bit of like Forcey shit to the creation. Do you not remember? Like, Soul essentially is like, oh, by the way, this is what's going on. They're like made of the Force. I'll explain more when I get there. But the Stranger's pure like, come again?
I don't remember that now.
Well, no, he does. He fully like, he's literally looking down, and then Soul's like, oh, blah blah blah, and the guy's like, so they didn't know. He might bring that information back to the old Joe in the cave, but he didn't know before then. He just assumed they were twins. He's just like,
what did they do for him to realise that? Is it just Saul saying it?
Yeah, Saul just blatantly says it. He's like, yeah, I've worked it out. Here's what you are. Right. And the Stranger's like,
I don't remember. What? Do not remember that.
Bro, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not going to Lord Oviate. The camera does go straight to the Stranger's face, and the Stranger's like, okay, well, maybe not that frightened, but he's literally like,
okay. Like,
he pure looks to the side like, well, hold the fun, buzz.
Excuse me?
I just thought they were twins. This is a bit different.
Nah, bro.
So, they didn't know beforehand.
He should Oh, okay, you might have like an inkling.
Well, they didn't know.
'Cause,
The
like,
girls didn't
some-
know.
Well, they wouldn't know.
They wouldn't really have to think about it.
They would just be like, man, I can use like the Force sometimes, I guess. And my mother taught us to do that, so why wouldn't we be able to do it?
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of the mother teaching them, this is where like the divergence is. May wants to be committed. She wants to become a witch. She wants to go to the spooky
May's
ceremony.
fairly happy.
She's happy to be there with her family, but
Osha, like, is, but also, like,
she pines for more.
she does pine for a bit more.
She wants adventure.
She's not aware the Jedi are there, right?
I don't think she's not. She doesn't know they're there before they show up.
The mother is.
I think she's dreaming of them because in her journal she's doodled the logo, so she's
Right.
maybe like thinking of them through the Force, and it's like that she's getting the sort of the
Yeah,
visions. You know, the
aye.
Force is sort of showing her that path.
Perhaps.
But the mother's made aware because Coral's scouting,
Aye.
which I think they show more clearly in the second flashback. But yeah, they know they're there. They're like, there's some fucking Jedi over there.
Aye.
Now, this is a perspective thing, so maybe it's worth talking about that when we see the other perspective. But basically, the girls sneak out, they get pulled back in.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to go through a ceremony, but then May wants to, but Osha doesn't.
So May gets fully ceremonied.
She does. May
And
gets fully
Osha,
ceremonied.
the
Osha's about
Jedi,
to.
the Jedi break in before Osha gets
The
that.
Jedi break in. They're about like, hey, we think you guys are up to some weird Force shit here, which they are. But again, the question is, weird doesn't necessarily mean good or bad.
Aye.
We don't really understand the morality of it, but the Jedi seem to believe it's bad.
The Jedi and their dogma.
They're a bit like, well, this isn't quite how we do it, so we think you're a bit weird. We think you're fucking with kids.
Yes.
You shouldn't be fucking with kids. And they basically coerce the situation to get May and Osha to show up.
Slightly. Aye. I feel
It's
like
also a bit like, coerce. They also,
they do a bit of course now.
I think, was it not Osha that does kind of just show herself anyway as well?
Well, Soul sees her, and then Soul's like, "Oh, do you have?" And Dara's like, "Do you have children?" And they're like, "If you have children, we have the right to like assess
we
their
have the
force
right to assess
ability,
them for a Jedi.
all that. You know that? Okay, cool. We'll do that then."
It's one of those interesting scenes where it is a bit like, this is the limits of the Jedi's dogma, even when they are good guys, because there is a bit of imposition here. I do like that they were like framing it as it is your choice, but you really should do it though.
Well, that's the way Dara says it. It's like, we have the right. Remember,
we have the right to do this.
You remember,
which I think is a bit of an imposition. It's
You
a bit
have to.
colonialist. It's a
It
bit
is,
like,
and it's a threatening scene, which is why the mother steps in
yeah,
and like has to mindfuck Torben.
she does have to.
Existence.
So, Mother Anastasia uses some fucking magic.
She does.
Jumps down Torben, turns his eyes black, fucking sends him into a spiral. It's like a threat, but
Fucks him up, man.
unfortunately, May and Osha's energy is a bit like, Osha wants to be trained. Osha's public like, no, actually, please let me
Yeah.
go see what the Jedi are about.
She is quite interested. She's quite taken by them.
She's all over it, and Anastasia's like, fine, I'll let Torben go. Sorry, bro.
As long as you leave.
And I please leave now. We will send the girls to you tomorrow. Or well, she's like, I'll send Osha, but then they're like, no, we'll test me as well.
We'll send both with the fucking people we'll send to bring them to you. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We'll bring them to camp.
Now, Mother Anastasia is like, hey, you should forcibly lie and fail the test, because otherwise the Jedi will take you away forever.
So May's like, I'm game, cool.
Excellent.
That's
cool.
fine. I'm down, Mum. Don't worry.
Osha's like, I don't know, because I can like the Jedi.
Like, Mummy, I would really like to go. And Anastasia is beautiful. We see her. She's like, listen,
Very great scene.
daughter of mine, we must discuss as a council, but we will hold your wishes
Yeah.
in our
I
hearts.
do respect you want this, and you can pick your own path.
Yes.
I've told you the facts as I see them, and I've given you the things to think about. I've pointed out, you need to try and remember the Jedi are thinking in one way. They're maybe a bit more dogmatic. You might get that adventure you seek, but at what cost? You might never see me ever again. Do you want that,
Facts,
your sister?
bro. Facts.
So Osha goes and does the test. May fails, obviously.
Yes,
deliberately.
Yes.
Osha does it, and she tries to fail,
Yes.
but Soul kind of reads her a bit.
There's some questions,
Soul sort of is like slightly intuiting, but slightly a bit like, I think Osha's cool. Like, so he kind of leads her to be like, hey, like, you're definitely lying to us, aren't you?
Yes.
And it's another one of those ones where it's like, in this first time, it's a bit nicer, but I think when you rewatch it, when you get the flashback, the second flashback,
when you get the full picture,
Soul's kind of leading a wee bit as well, because
Definitely.
there's a bit of like what Soul wants as well.
yeah, aye.
But she does kind of pass after like you have to have the courage to tell the
Aye.
truth. You have to have the courage to go for what you want, which is it's true and it's nice and it's fair. Like,
Right.
ultimately at the core, she should be allowed to go for what she wants.
Yes.
But the problem is the forces acting around her are having their own opinions and prejudices and their own lack of understanding.
Aye.
So Osha and May go back, and Osha's like, I want to go, I want to do it, I want to be a Jedi. They've offered. And Anastasia's like sobbing, but she's like, do you know what? I actually will probably respect your wishes.
We respect your wishes. You may go.
It has to be that way. But
Cool beans.
May cannot fucking stand that.
No, May doesn't want that.
May's like, nope, never leave me ever. We're going to become witches forever and stay here. I love you and I love my mum. Why? I don't want my family to be separated. I don't want these weird fucking monks to steal you away. And she locks Osha in her room. She gets really pissy at her. And she does start a fire. She burns Osha's journal.
She does, yeah.
But it kind of sparks onto like the electronics, and some of the more flammable equipment starts to burst, and then that just sort of spreads its way through. We see that the sort of Osha even breaks out of the room, but things are just a bit crazy. We do find just the aftermath of like a situation. Basically, like Osha comes out and it's like fucking running about the explosions. There's fucking fire everywhere. Her and May try to reach each other across a broken bridge, but the bridge falls in and May falls. Well, they both fall, but Osha is caught. Sol is there and catches.
Sol holds both.
He does hold both, but May falls.
Yeah.
And so May and Sol are both watch. Sorry, Osha and May. It's gonna get confused. It's all like 3 or 4 letters.
May falls. Osha is saved.
Osha and Sol watch. They're like, okay.
Yeah.
I think May's just dead. That's a shame. And Sol gets her. Oh no! It's they both fall, but I think so. I can't remember.
They're going to
some
fall.
things that we see from a different perspective.
Sol grabs
Sol
the
gets
bridges.
her. Sol
Yes.
gets Osha.
Aye, yes.
And he's like, I'm sorry, I'll get you out of here. I'm sorry about May. They run through the castle. All of the witches are dead.
She's like fainted. She's not awake.
They're like,
Osha.
well, she sort of faints, but she sees all the witches lying dead on the ground.
Does she?
Yes, she's
Okay.
fully awake. She doesn't like pass out until like they're out of the castle. There's a couple of scenes
Because
and
Sol
then sort of wakes up
Sol
in the
has to
ship.
tell her your mother's dead.
Well, yes, but we don't see the mother's corpse.
Right. Okay.
I don't think. No, I think we do.
That's
no,
what I'm
we
saying.
do. We do. She is awake because she sees her mother's corpse. She's like, "Mum, like, holy shit, it's my mum!" Like,
All right.
and he's like, "No, we're gonna go. Like, your mum's dead. Sorry,
Yeah.
don't ask questions." And they sort of take her away, and they're like, "We're going
To bring her back to the
we'll,
ship.
we'll train you. I am Jedi Master Sol. I'll be your teacher. I'm sorry about what happened." Although we also do, even though Sol and Osha don't know this, we say May did survive. Fucking soot
Well,
black.
obviously.
Like, she goes to this wee tree that they used to come to meet, and she's like, I need to find my sister. Like, we need to be back up again. What's going on? So that's us. We've got a bit of the knowledge now. We know the scenario as the characters have explained it to us.
Aye.
The perspective is important.
Yeah.
They will rash him on us.
Half of a perspective is important.
I like this.
Right.
I like this. Although I suppose it's not Rashomon in that it's not like The Last Jedi. It's not like we're shown the perspective from someone's perspective. So like Kylo sees Luke as inherently evil, whereas Luke can lie and say he's a bit more noble. This is more just literally the information. Like
From
we
May
see it from
and
May's
Osha's
perspective, so
point.
she sees A, B, and C, but not D. Whereas when the later flashback spoilers is from the Jedi's perspective, and they actually do see like D, E, and F as well.
Aye.
Although they also kind of don't really see A and B, which is part of the problem.
Yeah. You can never know the full picture.
Exactly. Again, which I love. I think this was one of the coolest sort of parts of it. Because by the end of it, the real mystery isn't who's killing them, why. It isn't. It's the twin thing. May's killing them for revenge. It is essentially what happened on Brendok. Even when we get the first flashback, just again, did the fire really go that big? What happened? What the fuck are all the witches dead for? What happened here?
Right.
It's that thing of what happened. What was the crowding moment that blew everything up, but also made May like desperate to kill all the Jedi? What did the Jedi do? These are the good guys, but
apart
like
from just in her mind, take her sister away.
yes, like. But I mean, could that just be it? Or
Could that just
the
be
fact that we're being fed this and shown like, okay, well, hang on, why are the witches dead? Like the Jedi are good guys; they wouldn't kill all the witches.
Right.
And it obviously is a bit more grey than that. But like the point is, we know something's going on. Torben drunk poison,
Facts.
and it's a bit like Torben wouldn't drink poison for taking a child away because that's just what the Jedi were doing.
Yeah.
So there's clearly something going on here. So everyone goes to Kofar to go for Kirnaka. We're on episode 4.
Aye.
And I just want to quickly point out, this is something I don't talk about at all. The episode titles are a fun little thing.
Right.
When May and Osha are apart, the episodes are split titles. So
Yeah,
they're like Lost/Found,
Yeah.
Revenge/Justice, and it's a perspective thing.
And then Kofar's where they meet.
Well, the flashback's called Destiny because they're together, it's about their destiny.
Aye.
And yet Kofar is when they start to meet and talk and be intertwined more.
Yeah.
And the 2 Kofar episodes are called Day and Night.
Right.
But there's 2 separate names. It's not day/night, it's day and night.
Right, yeah.
And then once they split back up again, it goes back to being separate titles until the finale again.
Okay.
I just like it. I think it's a cool wee touch. Fun.
Right.
Now, Kofar is... This episode is kind of... Episode 4 is the slower one. I think this is like where it got the bits, the slowest, because it's literally just everyone goes to Kofar and just dicks about in the woods for a wee bit. We introduce Basil.
Aye,
You remember Basil? The little
fine.
the little tracker?
She's okay.
So May and Chimera are there, and also the Fun Patrol show up.
Aye.
To find Kilnaka. We know it has to be Kilnaka. The soul's here. And Kilnaka's the only one unaccounted for. They sort of do have a bunch of discussions.
You are just going to have to remind me about like some things that happen in this episode.
Yeah, well, I'm actually reading the description for myself because I'm a bit like that. Because I really don't think anything happens other than them walking. But like, there is actually a scene in this before we get to Kofar, and this is in the temple, and this is where I have to talk about Vernestra. Vernestra's been up to this point, but this is where Vernestra really is starting to be a thing. So before they go to Kofar, Sol is a bit like, hi, we have to talk about how there's May here.
I would like to go.
She's clearly been trained by someone, guys. She doesn't just become a fucking assassin like this. She could be like a fallen Jedi. Ki-Adi-Mundi's there.
Right.
And this ruined canon because now Ki-Adi-Mundi is a couple of years older than he was in Legends. Right. I can't believe George Wokus and Kathleen Kennedy would shit on the canon again. Woke ruined Star Wars. Ki-Adi-Mundi's now older.
Definitely would.
I still think he has all his wives that he fucks, personally.
Okay, well.
Yeah, in Legends, I think in canon as well, Ki-Adi-Mundi is the only Jedi allowed to have wives and fuck him because his species is endangered, so he's allowed to have sex with a bunch of women so he can probably get the species.
Man, that's why he dies later, probably.
I feel like it's why he shouldn't be as much of a dickhead as he is.
Too
and I know he's literally a penis head man, but like he gets to crush Mad Poon,
I guess.
And he's the most stuck up one.
Bro, that's what the Jedi do, yeah, I guess.
Fucking bro, being a Jedi must suck.
Well, being in the Jedi in Coruscant must suck.
I was going to say, being in the temple, fucking, like, getting the dogma fed into you. And yeah, like, Vernestra's also there. So Vernestra's been on this. Vernestra Rowe.
Seems to be day-to-day operations chief of
she is a master,
the Jedi.
She's Master Vernestra now.
Aye.
And she is concerned. She is a bit afraid of this whole scenario because...
She is a bit concerned that someone may be training them.
Well, the optics, Graham.
Of course, the optics, yeah.
The optics, Graham. You know,
the Jedi can't be seen to be dying off from someone...
being killed by someone who's possibly part of their own.
Who's possibly trained enough to kill a Jedi.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very good for us. We've got a review coming up, by the way.
That's what... Bro, HR's coming in.
HR's coming in to sweep under the carpets.
Now's the time to talk about Vernestra Part 1. So Vernestra is the only character in the show who is actually in the High Republic books.
Right, I don't think I've met her yet.
Well, you've not met her because you only read Light of the Jedi, but she's in literally the next book, the young adult one. I don't remember names.
Who does she meet?
The one that introduces the Drengia.
I know. It's like Into the Deep or whatever.
Into the Dark.
Into the Dark.
She's in Into the Dark. She's got a Padawan.
Into the next adult book.
No, that's just the next book from Light of the Jedi. The next adult book's The Rising Storm. I think she's in that though as well.
Okay. Well, I've read a bit of that.
You've read a bit of Rising Storm. That's fair then. No, she's in what is just chronologically, the next book, I believe, which is Into the Dark.
That's the young adult one, yeah.
She's cool. She's a bit hot-headed. She has a Padawan. She has a light whip.
She does,
She got vision in the Force that compelled her to modify her lightsaber to become a whip.
Okay.
People are a bit like, that's weird because the Sith used to use light whips, and she's like, yeah, but like we also kind of did because we had to fight the Sith.
Visions though from the Force.
Well, she gets visions when she travels to hyperspace, which they reference.
An interesting Force power.
It is, a lot of the High Republic Jedi were a bit funky. You said about like Elzar and like Vernestra had like pure Force visions and hyperspace stuff like that. But Vernestra was one of the cool ones. She was one of the rebellious, one of the I don't take no shit.
Maybe I'll like her more in the books then.
Well, maybe. But we also need to understand how does our character get to the Acolyte where she cares about optics?
Well, I suppose, yeah. Well, she's probably grew out of that because of, as you say, at the end of the High Republic, they've obviously become more dogmatic and entrenched in the political system of Coruscant.
There is stuff in...
And the galaxy.
Temptation of the Force. I'm not going to spoil it too much, mostly because I don't really know.
Okay. But she is tempted in ways.
Well, it's more her first major, she basically has a complete bump with, the Jedi Council and, the Senate. Which is they just do something that she just does not like, and it just goes against her principles. So she's a bit like her trusting them is a giant chip. A knife has been jammed into her trust in it.
Right.
She's not blindly trusting of them. She's very independent, but she was like, yeah, no, we're doing the right thing, and I trust.
She wouldn't question them if she was blindly trusting them.
But now they've basically
made a decision of some kind.
Aye, they've challenged her, so she's a bit more reserved. She's became a bit more reserved and a bit more untrusting and a bit more not that in Acolyte she obviously clearly trusts the council in that to a degree, but it's more like I shouldn't go too far out now. I should pull back a bit. There's still more to be done. Vernestra's confirmed to be in the other books and that, so we are missing a chunk of character development here.
Okay, well let's just speak about her in the show.
Yeah, so in the Acolyte,
Everything that we know
as a
of.
result, because knowing that she is that way in the books and is completely different in the show, it is a bit like, oh, what's going on there?
Well, that's different for you, but I had no...
Well, I suppose you have
had no
completely no prior
reference.
knowledge, so that is...
I imagine a lot of people watching the show would have no knowledge.
I think from a show-only perspective, she is maybe... She's interesting to a degree, but she is very much the authority figure.
She's definitely the Jedi we're not supposed to like.
Yeah, she's the... It's all about the optics. She's going to make the wrong decisions. Even like when she starts to understand it a bit and, you know, she's never come to the right place.
She's one of the only characters that has the full scope.
That's true. She is the top down. She's the higher end one.
Like, of the story that we're seeing.
Yeah. She understands.
She knows all the things that happened.
Yeah, exactly. And then she gets told the things that she doesn't know happen. You know, she's the highest authority on it. But yeah, she does. I mean, they maybe could have elaborated on it more, but she also does have these levels of like understandable. While the whole optic thing's a bit weird, like it's sort of verified because there is this senator. There's apparently rumblings in the Senate. People are getting a bit like, okay, what are the Jedi up to? Like, how cool and important are the Jedi?
Like, we should probably. Like, we should be in charge of what they can do.
Yeah, you've got upstart senators like Raincourt. You hear the name Raincourt?
They should be under a rule.
He's the one who wants to do the HR review. I think even though he says some good things, I think his goals are bad. I think he's kind of a bad guy because he's like, maybe we should just have a bit more authority. Maybe the Jedi shouldn't be more free agents. Maybe they should be much closer tied to politics and closer tied to the whims of the Senate, which is part of the thing that made them bad because they became more bureaucratical.
Yeah.
They stopped focusing on just going out and helping and outreach, and it's more like, well, what does the government want us to do?
Yeah, they should be like independent. They should stand aside from any one side.
They should not be unchecked.
They should almost be mercenaries.
To a degree.
Like they should
I think
not
they should be more like a religious order. They shouldn't be separation of church and state. They should not make any actions based around political situations.
Aye.
They should simply their faith, they outreach, they spread the word, they keep the peace. They should not be like, well, who should we keep the peace for? Who are we allowed to keep the peace for? Like politics, finances. It's very much like Civil War. It's very much like a comic Civil War where it's a bit like, you know, the bad guy side is like, we just want to put fucking red tape in fucking documents and you need to sign shit.
Yeah.
We want to control you. It's a bit like that. So I think her fears are a bit wanted, but it's that grey area. The Acolyte's very good at having everyone be a bit grey because even though she's fighting something that is real and realistic, she still is a bit more like, again, a bit more like stiff, a bit more unfeeling, a bit more prone to like make mistakes or to be a bit more like wrapped up in the politics of it anyway.
Yeah.
Even if she's trying to avoid it getting worse, she's still wrapped up in it. So
aye.
Right now she has a bit of like a I don't know, stern character.
Bit of a stickler.
But she does get Soul out there. She's like, Soul, take Ocean, take a
like, you've
fucking
convinced
bunch
me.
of Jedi.
Go to Kelnaka.
Go
to Kofar.
Go get Kornaka. Go get Kelnaka.
And please bring us to an end.
They take Basil and they sniff him up and they go after him. Osha's sort of starting to feel the Force a wee bit more. They fight some bugs and she's like, I felt the bug.
I felt the bug. I can feel May. She's here.
She has a really good chat with Jackie. Jackie's essentially like, hey, we're not defined by like our tragedy. We're defined by like how we survived them. We're survivors, and you know, don't let yourself get lost to like the pain of the tragedy. Understand your power from going past it. Apparently in interviews they were like, hey, Jackie fancies her. I'm like, oh, Jackie fancies her.
Damn. I mean,
do not feel emotions, Jackie. You are a Jedi.
Didn't really see it.
You saw what happened to Anakin.
Nah, see, that's the problem. Nah, I mean, they should be allowed to do that.
Yeah, that's correct. No, I mean, you're correct.
Qui-Gon was all about that pin. All I'm saying.
Qui-Gon was smashing, bro.
You know. Obi-Wan was smashing, bro.
Bro, what, you gotta read some of listen to the audio dramas and that. There's is it Qui-Gon or is it? I think it's Dooku. Dooku's first apprentice. This guy called Rael Avaros.
Damn.
And he like dropped out of the order because he was like, I just love smoking cigarettes and absolutely bouncing my cock off the walls.
Bro, he was railing.
Absolutely just fucking wilding.
Rael was
and
railing,
doing
bro.
Fucking lines and that. And the Jedi were like, bro, you've got to stop bawling so hard.
Dooku was like, bro, you cannot be on that.
You cannot, bro. Your smoke too big. Your bitch too bad. They'll kill you.
Bro, you can't pull up to the temple in that whip like that.
You can't fucking show up dripped up to the fucking nines like that.
Bro.
Even though Rael was based, he was a cool guy. He wasn't like bad. He just loved smashing poon and cracking fucking 90s and having a brewski with the boys. Like
doing the spice.
Now, we do have a little bit of a flip because May
We do, aye.
She works her way through it.
This is what I need to explain this a bit.
This is an impossible fucking task, actually. I don't really know who my master is, because I think...
Well, she has this issue with the guy.
Well, first off, she has an issue where Soul in episode 2 tries to, like, who's your master? I'm going to fucking be the Force.
Right, aye.
And he says, oh, fuck, you don't actually know who your master is? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm fucking afraid of him. So she's like, fuck, I'm working for this spooky cunt. He's just making me angry.
Right.
My sister is alive for real. I didn't really know that for certain.
I need to go kill a Wookiee now.
But like,
that's hard as fuck.
I need to kill a Wookiee without a weapon. Why am I fucking doing this? And Kymir's also there, like, yeah, you should do this. Fucking do the dark side. And she's like, you know what? Fuck off. Like, no, I'm gonna go get Osha and I'm gonna fuck off. Fuck the Jedi, but also fuck this bullshit with the dark side.
Right.
I just want to get my sister. That's what I'm about. I'm angry at the Jedi, but there's no point anymore. It's my sister I want. So she traps Kymir and she fucks off.
Right.
She's
she
like,
goes to Kelnaka.
I'm gonna betray Kymir to the Jedi, and and she stumbles along to Kelnaka. Yep. And she's like, Kelnaka, oh, let down your fair hair, and he's dead.
Yeah.
He's a corpse in a chair with a lightsaber on him.
So he's dead.
And May's like, oh no,
he's here.
The guy is here. He heard me talking shit,
and he's here.
And at the same time, everyone else shows up.
So they arrive at Kelnaka's hut.
And they're like, oh, May's in there.
Come out.
Stand and deliver. Get out of there in the name of the Republic.
Yes.
And then this fucking cloaked shadow floats down. Battlefront 2 PS2 Force jumps down.
He's ready to go.
And like, I love the initial shot, by the way, like the out of focus behind Osha. And then you're like, what is that going on back there? And then Sola's like, what is that going on back there? And this guy materializes, fucking beautiful, fucking evil mask with a fucking snarled grin on it.
Yeah.
Fucked up little voice. So shall we, with the Force.
Boom.
Egon thought. And all the Jedi are like, absolutely not, lightsabers up, let's go.
Just pulls out the saber, bro.
He shows up with a red. He's like, bro,
you know what that means.
Mischief.
You know what that means.
And he chucks the Force down. And that's the end of that episode. Which was another one where I bit like blue balls. Like, I know you want to save the fight for the next episode. And it was a great fight. So I feel better about it now that the fight was so good.
Aye.
But seeing the moment, it was like, oh, and he used the Force. Credits. Okay, credits. I think the worst one was the Kelnaka one. It was essentially just the Wookiee is there. We know there's a Wookiee.
Aye. There was a good moment with Yord that we forgot to speak about, but I quite liked because obviously it made me like Yord a little bit more.
Was that in this episode?
Yeah. We were speaking to Osha was like, Yord, I need to speak to you.
Oh yeah, that's when they're walking down the hill, yeah.
And it was like,
if I can't do it, you need to kill me.
Aye, if it has to be done, do it.
I trust you to do this, to do your duty. And he's a bit like, but it won't come to that.
Aye. Well, she's like, I need to speak to you. I need to make you do it because Saul won't do it. And like, I believe like you could do it because you think the Jedi are right in this
yeah,
scenario.
You've got the righteous lean. But not even in an insulting way. I trust you as the pinnacle of virtue and the unbiased person in this. So yeah, I mean, we'll by this point, and Yord's still like, I get that, and I'm sure, but also don't worry. And Yord's been a bit more sympathetic. So yeah, Yord's cool. He's really is like, he projected himself with a stick up his arse, but his layers have unfolded like an onion. And Jackie's also like been there. She's speaking nice to Osha. They're making kissy faces at each other. And
some of these characters should have stayed in onion form and just.
They should have stayed in onion. They should not have had personal.
They should not have showed me the layers.
So we get to night.
Yeah.
We just don't even start.
And we just go. We just keep fighting.
It just goes. The stranger, he just starts fucking killing.
Like, they all die, basically.
Yeah, so, I mean, she just starts slaughtering. He shish kebabs a couple, and he's pulling people onto his saber.
He's quite clearly much better than, like, all of these people.
Yes, he is clearly well trained, and it makes sense, you know, these guys wouldn't have had to fight with their lightsabers. There's not been a lightsaber wielding person to fight in about 1,000 years.
Yeah, they're terrified.
But also, he himself is brutal in his methods.
Yes.
He, now, they don't confirm this until like a future episode, but he starts hitting. He has a van brace on and a helmet, and he starts hitting the blades with them. He headbutts the blades, and it shorts them because he has cortosis, which is from Legends as well. It's a lightsaber resistant material. It shorts out lightsabers.
There you go.
Which is part of this really interesting fighting method.
Yeah.
And he pursues this. And he kills all the no names. He kills the Plo Koon lady. There was a lady Plo Koon.
He fucks
Keldor. Fucking she's dead. I'm like, no, Plo Koon. Oh wait, no, you're not Plo Koon. I thought it was for her. I'm like, okay, I didn't mean it could be Plo Koon, but then she died, and then they revealed that she was a she. Now
dead.
basically, Soul gets involved. He's the master fighter. He's like the top pog. But
he can hold his own a bit more.
He's still on the back burner, but
it's definitely an even fight.
It's an even fight, yeah. Jackie, meanwhile, has a quick bump off with May, because May's a bit like, oh, I better bounce.
And Jackie's like, no, you may not.
She's like, nope.
I'm gonna get you.
Handcuffs. Stay there, bitch.
So they have a wee tussle.
They have a wee tussle, but May does get the better, and Jackie's a bit like, oh shit, I have to deal with like the super
I gotta go help fight the guy. And meanwhile, Osha and Yord are fucking running. Yord gets tagged, and he's like, oh man, we better just get you back to the ship, Osha.
Yeah. But
fucking let's go.
Osha's like, bro, we gotta fucking sort this. We have to fucking sort this.
But we need to run first.
Well, no, Osha's the one that's like, we gotta go back, bro. We gotta help Soul. Like, that fucking guy will kill them.
Aye, we need to run first. And then later on, she's like, oh, but we should just go back. And Yord's like,
I thought she was always on going back. It was Yord who was like, no, Soul said we need to run. We're running, until she's like, bro, we gotta go. Like, Soul's gonna die. And he's like,
maybe.
Yeah, like, I actually Soul's gonna die. We should probably go back.
Let's go back. So they come back eventually.
So yeah, first off, Jackie jumps. And Soul's a bit like, oh, I'm on the back burner, because this guy's just relentless. So Jackie jumps in, and she gets some moves in. She nicks Kilnaka's lightsaber off the guy. He had Kilnaka's lightsaber, and she gets some double wielding. Jackie's pogged as fuck.
It's full Ahsoka at that point.
And she gets him with a fucking lock. She's about to get him. And then the stranger reveals his secret weapon. His fucking lightsaber is two. Not like Darth Maul, though. He like twists the bottom, and a little short blade pops off.
He has a wee... what does Samurai have?
Is it... Fuck. Ahsoka's blade is kind of like that too. Her second blade is shorter, but not that short.
Aye.
I want to say it's like, but the words that fly in her head are like Tanto or something.
Aye.
I don't think that's right.
Tanto, yeah.
Is it?
Well, that's a small knife, definitely.
I don't want to claim on this culture. I'm not.
But Tanto, yeah.
Basically, I think it is like that. Maybe it might not be the right word, because I'm sure depending on the length and the style, it can be different.
Yeah, that probably is true.
He does have that little, like, shorthand one. And he fucking cheese grates Jackie in the chest. Stab. Jackie's dead.
Man, actually, like, probably just should have been about her the whole show. But alright, cool. Just kill her off.
Right.
Just, like, would have enjoyed it more if Jackie was the main character. And, like, it was a different story play, but alright.
Bro, is this what you're feeling at this point? Or is this
I'm sad. I'm like, man, Jackie was cool. Daphne Keen's great. Why did the great people have to die? Why did Carrie Ann Moss die in the first episode? Why is Jackie now dead?
Stakes, mate.
What the fuck's that about?
Game of Thrones, mate. We can kill folk.
The stakes went too high, and then they upset me.
Well, I will say,
Jackie, there's like a fine line with that, like killing a character off. Like, you can't kill like all of them off, or like.
No, I suppose
there's a certain one. Like, I feel like, you know, a lot of people like stopped The Walking Dead when Glenn died. TM spoilers. So like this must
when Abraham died.
This is, man.
Spoilers.
Rip. All the like Glenn stands were like, I just can't watch the show now. This is a bit me. I was like, man, I just like really like Jackie, and I can't believe we killed her like this.
I think it's fine if it doesn't sort of conflagger the narrative. Jackie could have stayed, but it wasn't like there was something left unsaid. She sort of made her mark on it.
I just don't know why we had to kill her.
Because we have to. There has to be a stake here. Like, the stranger is
man murdered like 5 people.
Yeah, fucking red shirt no names.
Man. That's hard.
Did you care about... I can't even remember the Keldor's name. They have a name. I don't remember it. They didn't say it in the show.
I don't know it.
But Jackie... I like Jackie.
Oh,
Plus,
Jackie.
there is a little addendum here.
Oh.
We need to limit who knows about the stranger, because we cannot have the news of a Sith-type person coming out, because he does look into the camera and go, you might call me a Sith.
Yeah, aye.
People can't know about that, because the whole point is that by the time of the Phantom Menace, they still don't really... Like, when Darth Maul shows up, Yoda and Mace Windu are like, bro, the fucking Sith are here. So people can't know that the Sith are about.
There's like, I seen like a thing on TikTok, and it's missing context in the TikTok itself, so I can't really like, but I think you might know it, right? There's like, apparently, in the TikTok, they're like, basically, Leslie obviously spoke to Dave Filoni, right?
Of course.
The guy. And Dave Filoni's like, oh man, see if you like sprinkle this wee thing in, right? It's actually going to link to like Phantom Menace, because Mace Windu like does this look to Yoda, like when Qui-Gon's in the council chatting to them.
There is
I think that what that is reference to is the fact that they knew a Sith event happened, this Sith event, I guess, and that's what that look is. So that's what Leslie has planted here, is what the TikTok I think is saying.
Even if it's not a Sith event, I think it's plausible to know that people like Yoda would understand that there is a red lightsaber wielding dark side user out there.
Right.
We need to understand that while we would process that as the Sith, it isn't actually just the Sith. It's like the Jedi. The Sith aren't the dark side. They're just like the big ones who like to be the face of it. But the dark side has got many sort of paths.
They say the dark side is using the Force for personal gain, but the Jedi do that all the time.
Well, it's true, but it's more about sort of the Jedi sort of tap into it. They sort of ask for help in it to sort of, traditionally they like to do the noble thing, they like to do the right thing. They're sort of fighting on the side of good, whereas a Sith is doing it just, either they're just implicitly doing bad things. They're like, hey, I'm going to use the Force to shoot lightning at you, blah, blah.
I guess.
Or they're doing it to fulfill their own selfish goals. They're not helping anyone except themselves type of thing. Plus, it's where the energy comes from, which is the Acolyte touches on, is that like it's anger, it's rage, it's negativity, whereas the light side of the Force flows naturally through calm and through serenity and through sort of understanding yourself and the world and all that.
Okay.
It's just it's like the light side of the Force exists without the Jedi. The dark side exists without the Sith. Yeah. It's just that those two are the poster boys. Those are the ones who have been doing it the most for the longest.
They've
so
got the best PR, you know.
And if you go back to the past, the Sith were the Jedi anyway, so it's like whatever. The Sith were a splinter group, and that is canon.
Don't worry about it.
So it's like, fuck, Jackie's dead.
Rip.
This guy's he's not fucking around.
He's not to be fucked with.
And Yord jumps in and he's like, fuck you, bitch.
We're going to do
Yord
it.
gets involved and Yord's like, fucking another, like, okay, Yord, try and get my way. Jackie, I believe actually it's Jackie that, yes.
Obviously Soul loses his mind when Jackie dies.
Sorry?
Soul obviously
Soul's
loses his
fucking
mind.
beyond it. Soul's pissed, Soul's fucked, Soul's angry.
He's ready to kill him.
That was his fucking apprentice. He liked her, she was Pog, and he's angry.
They do get him a couple times, man.
Well, that's the thing. Jackie does clock him in the fucking face and knocks his mask off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking Chimera.
It is Chimera, aye.
Which is another... Oh, obviously.
Well, yes, but it's also like... It's like planting the seeds a wee bit, because obviously, like, how could Saul, a Master Jedi, be in the same room as this man and not know?
Yeah, of
it's
course.
Planting the seeds a little bit like that. It's like, oh, well, who could have taught that? I wonder who
how
else
is
has
it
shown up.
that a Sith Lord could control the entire fucking Senate and be surrounded by Sith the Jedi on a daily basis?
I wonder who's taught man this skill.
And I think it's not just a skill though. I think it's the one thing I think the Jedi really lost it was practice. It was getting too comfortable.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay, the Sith were gone, but the belief that look at the Sith are gone, nobody will ever threaten us with the dark side ever again, probably.
Right.
So it was complacency. It was maybe ego as well, and certain people do. Yord is an example of that. Yord is an example of like a complacent and ego-driven person because he does not bad, but he obviously believes in a bit more like the implicit nobility and right of the Jedi to be the arbiters of the light side.
I guess,
but while completely being blindsided by the existence. I mean,
he is more. I think he's likely to fall though. If he were allowed to continue.
You think Yord would fall to the dark side?
But in time, I think, yeah. And that, like, maybe...
that's a statement.
Nah, I think maybe, like, you know, the council go a different way and he's very upset about it. So then he would, like, strike out on his own and he could definitely, like, go that way, I think.
Well, I think if you're so addicted to a dogma that if something does challenge that dogma, then yeah, you're likely to turn. Mm-hmm. He could become like a darksider but like he's so implicitly aggressively believing in his interpretation of it, which I like. I don't actually like that idea. But yeah, that thing of just like, you know, I think it's a lead in. Now, right now, a couple of Jedi can't sense that there's a bad guy in front of them because they're not really looking at him as a bad guy or thinking about it or conceiving that he could be.
I did like that. I mean, it wasn't a surprise.
Exactly, yeah, no, of course it was Chimera. Like, Chimere's first line when he's Chimera is a line directly from the Sith Code, the Legend Sith Code.
Right.
He says, like, the Jedi think that they bring peace, but peace is a lie. And peace is a lie. Peace is an illusion, something like that.
Right.
And he's sort of just always there, and he's like, yo, I totally also know the Sith Master. I'm also part of this. And it's like, okay, come on.
Cool.
So I'm glad that was also not like a reveal. It was still like a sort of like a aha. Not like a rug pull, just like a,
like,
we got. And that's when he's like, yeah, you could call me a Sith. Because a lot of these guys, they don't know what they're fighting against. Yord is one who's like, what is this?
Right, yeah.
What are we looking at here?
Like, who else would know of lightsabers? And
which is
how to
another reason why they can't comprehend it as well. They can't understand the dark side of the Force like that because it's like, we just do not know what this is. And then, so Yord gets in and he gets some licks as well.
I think it's fucked up.
Man, yeah, he fucks up Chimera, but then Chimera does a little reversal on him because Chimera's better at fighting.
Obviously.
Just fucking snaps his neck.
It does snap his neck. It's pretty brutal, but
fucking on screen snaps Yord's neck.
Great time, man.
Dead.
Yord, you know, we liked you in the end, bro. Thank you.
Yord was great because he just
thank you for your service.
Better. That was grown. Like, you had two characters who were just like, Jackie was quick endurance, Jackie was well from the start, you're nice. Yord was learned endurance where you're like, oh, we thought you were a dick when you started to be good.
He grew into it, you know, I liked him by the end. probably my favourite character by then, let's be honest.
Oh
I'm joking.
God.
No, he's not. He's not.
But that's why I think they were the prime ones to kill. Also because they were younger, they were novices, they were... I mean, I think Chimera's the one who specifically says Soul's like, oh, Jake was just a kid and you fucking cheese grater. And Chimera's like, yeah, you brought her here.
Bro.
You brought a kid to this. You're
bring-
like, we were going to talk, we're doing Jedi murders here. Like,
Don't bring kids to these fights, bro.
so it's a level of innocence as well. Chimera is ruthless. He does not care for innocence or naivety.
Yeah, I mean, if you're fighting for lightsabers, bro,
He's out to kill. He's out for blood.
But so are they. That's he's got to defend himself.
He basically is also kind of he's getting into a fight. Soul does, and he's sort of raged, and maybe not tapping into the dark side per se, but you know he's leaning on it, where he's like so pissed, and he's like, I'm a good fighter, fuck this, the bars are down, lightsabers are out, and Soul gets right up to him, and is a bit, he could literally kill him, but Osha stops him. Osha's like, you can't just kill this guy, especially because he disarms him, I think. You can't just kill a guy in cold blood. Like, you're doing this out of anger.
Yeah.
And when you're so entrenched in anger...
He's obviously taunting him as well. He's like, oh, you just should just kill me, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Like,
and when you're in that position, that would turn you sour at the dark side, essentially. You know, I think as well. When you're like in a... Not just the act of killing someone, but when you're so entrenched in your emotions, you're giving in, and that just leads further and further. So Osha kind of saves Soul's soul a wee bit. And Osha instead is like, I know how to get this fucker. Stuffs a torch on him, and the fucking weird moths that she connected to comes back and ties him off.
The weird bugs.
Hopefully to eat him, but perhaps not. But meanwhile, May pops back up, has acquired Osha's stun gun. She dropped it earlier, and stuns Soul. She's like, okay, look, sisters, let's talk.
Chill.
And they basically argue about like well, why'd you burn down a fucking house and kill her family? And May's like, hey, I didn't do that. Why are you with the Jedi? The Jedi are the problem.
Right. Yeah.
Not a lot of answers, but there's still sort of emotions there. They're good to see each other. They're developing a bit.
Right.
They don't really answer much. They just simply, this is their first time having a conversation, and they just get to air their feelings essentially.
Right.
But Osha is like committed to like, we're gonna bring you in. Like, I can't let you get away. You've killed people.
Aye.
And May's like, oh well, I'm just gonna hit you with a stun gun then, soz, bro.
Yep.
And May's like, I have a funky idea. I need to kill Soul. Why don't I cut my hair and disguise myself as Osha to get close to Soul?
Yes.
And she does that, and she leaves Osha in the forest, like, bye.
So, why does she do that? Because at this point, but at this point, she's through this whole idea out the window, right?
No, she's
now back to killing the Jedi?
Well, I think she was always going to kill the Jedi because that was her personal goal. But the whole thing about killing without a weapon and like trying to commit yourself to being an acolyte, she's like, why don't you fuck with this?
She's done with that.
She also, the stranger is there, and the stranger does catch up to me, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm also Chimera. And she's like, I think she doesn't immediately go, nope, fine, sorry, I'll follow you again. But she's obviously rattled by his show of force. So she's a bit like, oh, I should totally, maybe I shouldn't fully betray him.
Okay.
But she also is just personally committed to this. This is her personal goal. The stranger basically being like, you're going to become my acolyte, but to get there, we'll do your thing.
Aye.
So she wants to kill Soul because of also, not even just because of the whole thing she was doing, but Soul specifically is the fucking main one. So she's like, I'm going to kill Soul because I fucking loathe that guy more than life itself.
She still wants to, yeah.
Because he did everything wrong, as we will find out. What did Soul do?
This isn't where she lost me. Then she definitely does like turn, and I don't like it.
Who?
May.
Turn what?
She just turns.
Turns what?
Like what she wants to do.
Well, I mean,
like she loses.
Spoilers.
Her goal.
She does sort of stop trying to kill Soul a little, but
yeah,
she's definitely on that train for the majority of most of the episodes.
Yeah, but I just don't see why she would stop.
I don't think she stops. She's trying to do it until he like gets the upper hand of it and she tries to escape.
See, we should watch the last episode or two right now because
right now.
I'm something about it. Like I was like, she's turned, and I don't like that she's turned because I don't know why after so long and being trained for so long.
Are you sure
and
you're not
getting
talking about
so
Osha?
far? No, but also Osha. This is, I mean, Saul falls apart. IMO, Osha and May fall apart. I like May more, I think, still. Or they just go in at, maybe they don't fall apart because you obviously like them, or liked their journey. But I think like May not going all the way didn't sit well. And I understand like Saul.
Rewatch the episodes.
Nah, like Saul.
Nah.
Well, let me get through this. Like Saul, I didn't like where he ended.
Would you not like it because the reveal of what he did just essentially sullied his good character? Because that is the intent.
No, because, well, maybe, like, I guess, because he's now bad isn't the why I didn't like it. I would say it's about harsh that he's now bad. He's just... I think he's always bad,
deeply complicated. He made some very bad mistakes.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, bad in that way.
It's also great because some of the mistakes he made were ego-driven, but some of the mistakes were based on misinterpretations of things that look bad.
Yeah, aye. But it's also just like he's overstepped in a way to get here.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Well, May, go back to May. So would
May.
you're on this?
I don't
think May turns.
I think she does. I can't remember exactly the point. I think that I'm 2 weeks out for watching it, so like that is definitely why. But I felt like she turned somewhere, and I don't understand. Like, our character lost all steam at that point for me. Like, I didn't care anymore from that point on what was happening, because I felt like she's just threw the whole quest away. She's got so far. She's killed 3 of them are dead. She's killed 2 of them, and there's 1 left, and she's not trying as hard. She's not wanting to kill him anymore. And our focus is more on Osha trying to get her to do it.
Well, okay, I will say that is true. I love you, but I really don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like,
that's what I'm saying, man.
She just doesn't stop hating him. She at one point
hating him. Yeah, she's always hates
him because
always hates him.
She's like she gets put on the back foot and has to escape. She's like, okay, right, this isn't one for me. I'm gonna get out of here for now and
she's got to regroup.
And all through the finale, she's essentially like sort of trying to like fuck about with, but also sort of escape to get to Osha, and she knows that like the stranger's getting involved. So she's like, maybe I can just let the stranger deal with it. Like at this point. Maybe is that your thought? She doesn't actively start trying to kill him. It's more about like, okay, maybe I don't need to be trying to kill him right now. Just I know he'll die.
I don't know. I guess it's more. I think she's just more like, I'm focused on my sister now. Like I just want us to be besties and like leave. And I just feel like she should have been more on like, we should just fuck the Jedi up and leave.
I think if you think about it, that only happens for this episode. She basically, at least the episodes on Kofar, where she's like, what is the point? Why am I doing this? I know at that point her sister's alive, but she doesn't know her sister enough.
Right.
She just is like, my sister's alive. That's different from anything I knew. I want that more than anything. But then she doubles down on killing Soul after she talks to Osha and realizes that Osha is like fully gone. Like she would say brainwashed. I believe she even says brainwashed. She actually does. No, she literally does. Osha's like, I think you should be taken in. I think we should arrest you in the name of the Galactic Senate. And she just goes, the Jedi have fucking brainwashed you, bro. So I think what happens is that she basically finds out her sister's alive and is like, okay, fuck all this. I just want to get to my sister because that's who I care about. And then she realizes that her sister is too far gone.
Right.
She's like, okay, well, the Jedi, now I remember why I was trying to kill them, because they fucking ruined my life.
Right.
And I don't have any hope here, so the one thing I know I can do is finish my fucking task and kill this cunt fucking dickhead Jedi, or at least ruin his life.
The focus is like, but so after Kofar, she's like, right, I'm going to go to Saul, I'm going to fuck it up a bit, I'm going to try and kill him, right, cool.
I was going to say, I suppose maybe she moved away from just straight up killing him. I think she also kind of, at least, she also tries to get him to confess as well.
That's what I'm saying. She doesn't want him to die.
She wants absolution.
She wants him to confess to Osha first.
Well, that's true.
Or before it all. Like, our quest at that point is then to destroy the man.
Yeah, do you know what? If you look at her actual actions, let's think about her actions in the finale as well. She doesn't necessarily go for a killing because she's like, no, I need the truth. We want the truth. Because I think from that point on, she's like, I need to get my sister back. So the thing I need to do is break my sister's illusion of the Jedi. So I need Soul to tell the truth. She needs to find out what happened, because she needs to understand that these Jedi are not the fucking noble heroes she thought she were. You're not going to listen to me. You just think I'm the villain.
Aye.
But if I break your beloved soul, I think it's that. Yeah, okay. I relent a wee bit. I don't think she was trying to kill him. And however you feel about that, I think they double down on it makes me a bit more sympathetic. They double down on the sister love.
I like me more than Osha probably, because she is still like kinda there, but it's just not as. I just think a person in that scenario would still want to kill him. I don't think it's like.
I mean, I agree with you, and I don't think she stops wanting to kill him. I think she just, rather than just her bludgeon him to death with a fucking club or that, she's like, right,
aye.
No, I before he dies, we need to get the truth out.
Aye.
Because I need to get my sister back.
I just think it loses a bit of consistency.
Well, I don't.
That's fine.
Fuck
That's
you.
fine.
No, I mean, I get where you're coming from. I think it's just the factors have affected the characters. This is fundamentally May's changed by the realisation that Osha's alive and a real fucking presence. It just, her priorities changed. I mean, she was doing all this because of her feelings about her sister, and now she's like, well, my sister is not dead, she's there and she's real and I can fucking go get her. So that's reshaped her priorities.
Right.
It's just that then she also like kind of doubles back on, because when she realises that her sister's too far gone and that the Jedi are to blame, it's like, right, okay, well, no, let's go back to the original plan then, because those, or not even go back to the original plan, there's like oh yeah, I'm still angry at those fuckers because they did do bad things. But now I have to add in a little addendum of getting the truth out and getting Osha to realise. Right. If she just goes and kills Soul, Osha's like, cool, mate, you fucking killed Soul, I definitely hate you forever now. And the truth never comes out. Yeah. And May's condemned to just, because Osha's never going to listen to her. So May's condemned to just never have her sister again. Whereas she's probably like, if I get Soul to tell the truth, Osha will be forced to be like, fuck, May was right. Maybe I should listen to May. And I don't doubt for a second that May didn't want Soul dead. I think what happens in 8, like May basically being a bit more like, maybe I'm not the one to kill him, maybe you're the one to kill him, is also her basically getting the absolution for her. You deserve to take revenge. I already know I want to kill him, but you now are in the position where you're like, I should kill this fucker. Because also May's dark side, and she's like, yeah, fucking you get involved, you feel your feelings. I actually am talking it through now, and I think I like May more. I'm a bit like, yeah, this is like a very fucking interesting character dynamic. I think it's Osha who's maybe a bit more dramatic and sort of harder to swallow.
Well, definitely towards the end,
Let's even move towards that. At the end of the episode, of course, as well, of the fighting, the Stranger Fight episode, not only does Soul fly off with May, pretending to be Osha, but Kaimir, it's fine. He obviously breaks free of the moths. They were fucking moths. What did you think was going to happen, Osha? And he finds Osha, who he recognises because she's got like, there's tattoos, there's slight differences you can use to distinguish them. And he knows
Osha doesn't have it, May does have it.
Yeah, Osha's still got slightly different here if you look at the details, and the tattoo specifically, that because obviously May went through that witchy thing, she's got the circle, but Osha doesn't. And Kaimir's like, oh, well, like May betrayed me, but because May started in anger, but Osha's, you could double up Osha's anger because of
Osha's
betrayal.
Not found it yet.
Yeah, he knows she could probably have it in her, but especially because of how he knows what he knows about the situation.
Well, he knows the story.
Well, he knows from May, so he's a bit like, right, well, betrayal can possibly sting harder than regular revenge rage. You want revenge, but you'll also feel the suffering of betrayal. Right. And that will bring you to a darker point, I think. So I think he sees a potential to go even deeper with Osha, and both teaching and in boning her, because they are in love and they're kissing. What? Raylo, welcome. Died 2018, revived 2024. Welcome back, Raylo.
Can we not though?
Do you know in the finale they originally kissed?
I don't like that.
Then, they were like, no, we're not going to do that.
Good.
I mean, I can see it.
Nah.
Well, okay, you can't see it now, but whatever. Give them more time. Season 2, come on, Disney.
I just don't like. I'm about relationships in Star Wars. Like, I just don't know. Do you know what I mean?
There's a thing with like people being weird about relationships.
This
is why Raylo was so weird, because for the people who were in on it, it was like deep and compelling. But for the other people, they're like, well, I just don't like relationships.
But there's like one.
But there's also compelling reasons, by the way. Sorry.
It's like Han Solo and Leia, and like that's like it.
Anakin and Padme.
I guess, right? And that's like it.
Very badly written and acted.
The only other one that like obviously like Sabine and Obi-Wan is like, I'm fine with that.
Hera and Kaden.
Fine with that.
It's better than anything.
I don't understand. There's some weird about that specific pair.
Well, it's because it's baddies, especially when it's a goodie and a baddie. Raylo was a hard pill to swallow.
We could have baddies though.
We could have baddies, and that's part of the development. That's why they didn't kiss in the finale, because maybe they wanted to kiss in the next finale, but by then they might be completely different people.
Maybe. If like we'd saw Asajj in that guy's book like adapted, I'd be like, oh man, they should kiss, something like that.
Oh aye, Asajj and what's his name?
Can't remember.
But aye, you're right.
Like Asajj, I could see.
Merrick. Or Merrick.
Is it?
Well, that's the Jedi that saves her. Is that who you're talking about?
Is that the one that's like got the name in Obi-Wan? Because that's who it is now.
No, what the fuck am I talking about? Quinlan Vos, fucking Dark Disciple. Fuck, yeah, they'd be kissing. Oh, what was I talking about?
I don't know.
I was like, that's weird. It's kind of like a master. That'd be a bit strange, but okay. Yeah, Quinlan Vos.
Like,
fuck,
there's a couple things like Asajj. I could see like having a partner and like and it being cool and stuff because like Asajj.
And they've grown through darkness to light together.
Yeah, there's things that could work. I don't know what it is.
I like the idea of being bonded by their suffering. And
that, initial pairing, no, I don't like.
Well, I think we just need to learn more.
Rilo wasn't a massive issue for me.
What?
Rilo, I don't think was a massive issue for me. I just think how we was played a little bit was a bit weird.
I think in Last Jedi it was played really well. That's where Rilo came from, but then they just sort of bottled it in Rise of Skywalker, but they bottle everything in Rise of Skywalker, so it's fine. I think it's based on mutual understanding. That's why I kind of think that something could be going on between Osha and the stranger, because
I just don't think Osha would kiss him now.
Maybe not then. That's the thing. That's why they cut it, because they're like, this is maybe a bit too soon.
It's like she's still uncertain of him.
They're shared suffering. They've both suffered betrayal at the hands of their people they trust, and they're sort of bonded by this mutual hatred and this mutual suffering.
Yes.
But that's why they didn't kiss, because we probably need a bit more time for them to go there. I'm not saying season 2, episode 1, Acolyte.
I mean, holding hands is a bit.
Osha bones, fucking.
I don't know if Osha's holding his hand.
She sort of touches, she grabs that. I could hold your hand now. I know,
but she's still untrusting of the guy.
I think she has trust issues, but the problem is it's a bonding thing. This
it's
guy's the guy trying to be earnest with her and honest and point out the issues, and she's just discovered that this guy's been nothing but on the level with me, and the person I actually did love and trust was the real villain. But
it's an arrangement made
simply
because it has to be done. It's not she doesn't really want to be there.
Not necessarily because she 100% wants to be with him. I think she just understands, there's understanding between them. And I'll repeat, that's why the most they had was a minor handhold, because it's there is a concept of understanding that could build. If they kissed, I would have been angry about it.
I'm of course open to it, but
I'm open to it as well, but please develop it better. Don't have them go 100% that fast.
Aye.
But how do we get there, man? We're talking about this and we're skipping.
That's fine, man.
Episode 6. So
spoilers, we know what's happening.
Episode 6 is literally May and Osha's little individual journeys with their peoples. Kymir is on that fucking planet, the rock planet, with Osha. He's he basically says, I used to be a Jedi and I was betrayed by my master. I've got these big whip-like scars on my back.
Oh.
Looks into camera and he's like, I'm a bit like you're betrayed by your master. And she's like, what are you talking about? But he teaches her about the Force, about accessing these dark energies, about the Jedi don't control the narrative of the Force, they just try to.
Right.
Manny Jacinto is naked and jacked to fuck. He's jacked in the last few episodes, but he is out there cocking balls out. We don't see them, but they're there. Fucking 79 pack, sweatiest fucking arms.
Right.
I'm not gay for people like him, but I get it. Rebecca's in the room and we're howling like a dog, and I'm like, God damn, that's a beautiful man. Gorgeous, gorgeous man. And Amanda Stenberg is a gorgeous, gorgeous lady. It's a very pretty cast of characters.
Sure, yeah.
I think they're very pretty. I think Charlie Barnett, who's Yorda, I think he's very pretty.
It's okay.
I think Lee Jung-jae's pretty, but not looking like a hot way, more like a cute little dad way. Oh. I'm sure in Squid Game he's not like that.
Maybe, I don't know.
But eventually he's a bit like, why don't you pop on my mask? Because it's made out of cortosis.
It's going to focus.
It's also a bit of a sensitive deprivation. I barely see in here when I'm in it, and I sort of just get to be me in the Force. You should pop it on.
It's not feel.
It's not like a dark thing. It's just like a feeling thing. What do you think about it? Meanwhile, Soul is basically having these issues because he's a bit he's really been pressed about the whole thing about May and Osha. He basically tries to get a hold of the council, but he can't quite get it through. All the council figure out is that everyone died.
Yeah.
It's we got a part of the message where he says everyone died. So Vernestra is a bit we will
fucking go. Round them up, let's go.
We're going to go, because Vernestra's now a bit this is a problem.
Aye,
everyone's dying, sums up. But May basically gets involved. She gets attacked by Basil, because Basil's also there, but Basil knows that it's not Osha. He can smell it or something.
She can smell things.
She basically fucks him, clonks him, because she's a fucking rat boy.
Aye.
And she's like, hey, so, by the way, you need to tell me the truth about Brendock.
Aye.
And Soul's clearly, going there. He's like, yeah, I'm starting to feel this. But when the ship's power comes back on, because the ship had a wee power issue, Soul does, nip her with a stun as well.
Because he does, obviously know.
Because he does also know, and also Basil is there. So if he didn't know 100%, Basil's hey, by the way, bro,
I got you.
Fucking Osha, I can smell her and tattoos and all that.
That's the problem, bro.
But he's now pressed to the edge. He's getting fucking May try to stab him in the back, and he's like, oh God, I really need to talk about this fucking shit that happened.
Oh shit.
So when Vernestra sort of tries to come along, she's like, hey, just maybe wait there. He's like, I'm gonna go. And Vanessa meanwhile gets up and finds all the corpses on Kofar.
Aye.
And they're a bit like, who could have done this? Everyone survived. The only survivor was Soul. Could Soul have done this?
No.
But Soul, May wakes up. She gets knocked out by him. He's like, Soul's like, hey, I'm going to tell you.
I'm going to fucking tell you.
I'm going to tell you what happened. And so we finally get to episode 7, the other flashback, which is the reverse side. It's the Jedi's perspective on the...
Yes.
So, and this is about 15 years prior. As we discussed earlier, the Jedi are fucking about looking at mushrooms and shit.
They've been sent to the planet. They're
on Brendok because Brendok was devastated in a great hyperspace disaster. Ding, ding, ding. Read like the Jedi. That's the great disaster. It's back.
And it's now sprung back to life.
And it's now suddenly, like in a very limited time, it's now like a lush forest planet again. Soul, who, again, based on, he's very... I think by this point you could have understood his character to be very wise and like sort of holier than thou, but not in a bad way. He's just very, he's noble. He's like a great Jedi. We meet this slightly younger Soul, and he's just he's sort of forward thinking about it. He's like, we are on a noble mission, but he's putting a bit of emphasis on it. You can tell he's looking to be a cool, good guy.
Yeah.
He's like defining like, we're looking for a Virgins. And Dara's there, because this is the team Kilnaka, Torben, and Dara and Soul.
Aye.
And he's like, there's a Virgins here, and Dara's like,
there's a Virgins.
We don't know that. And a Virgins is...
we don't know this.
A sort of a
high concentration of
point
force energy.
of like super fucking force shit, which is a thing that's been in canon before. Anakin is kind of the Virgins.
Right. I like
the
Virgenses.
dark side caves on Acton and Dagobah.
I like Virgenses,
They're
bro.
Virgenses. They're just spots of intense energy.
The fucking...
naturally occurring as well.
The fucking weird dyad is like...
the dyad of Virgins
odd,
as well.
right? I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I like the Virgins.
The Virgin, I think you could just say the dyad was a type of Virgins.
It was,
it's a
definitely.
Naturally occurring, like, just well of force energy.
But
the
like,
force is an energy.
The Virgins of these two, dyad-esque, is done... I like it more.
Yes, because The Rise of Skywalker is a bad movie.
Not even that. Like, I just...
You just don't like the idea as much. You think that this is a lot more...
I thought, in the end, they were going to become one person. Like, physically merge or something.
May and Osha dating Kylo.
May and Osha.
I don't even think it's off the cards.
I thought that was going to happen when they, like, met. Or they do, like, some sort of weird mind meld thing.
I think there's like a chance that even still happens.
I don't think it happens now.
I think it's off the cards.
The
goal was to meet two people, so I don't know if that the goal is to then recombine them, I think.
Right.
Or at least it looks like the goal was
because they've got the weird fucking rhyme, which I'm guessing is how they were summoned.
Yeah, they've heard all these like rhymes. The Coven chant it when the original flashback, and May and Osha repeat it.
That's what I'm thinking was like the spell to make them.
It could have been, yeah. I mean, I don't even feel like I don't not subscribe to that. Like fucking.
But
I'm with you, you're with me. Yeah. Fucking two become one.
But the Virgins shit, I like it.
I like it. It's
a
great
idea.
Thing in canon. I love when because it's always trippy as well. Darkseid Cave, for fuck's sake, sees Darth Vader and cuts his head off, and he sees himself. Yoda's out there like going Ree! Like
he is going Ree.
Obviously not confirmed. Soul's just like, whoa, I think we're on this.
Like Virgins, what could it be?
And they do bump into the twins, little Force users.
Well, he does. Like, he sees them.
Oh, sorry, but not all of them. Yeah, he specifically sees them.
And he's like, "There's children here.
We gotta fucking investigate, bro." And the Jedi Council are like, "Fucking step off, bitch." Yep.
And Dara's obviously like, "Listen,
yeah,
we should not get involved with the locals. We're not here to do that.
Yeah.
We're here to gather some plants, bro."
And Soul's like, "Oh, but we should still test them because we're Jedi."
And then Dara's like, "Listen,
what's up with them?" He saw this is that thing of perspective. He saw them in the forest doing little force things, and then a big scary Zabrak lady with horns shows up and goes, "What are you doing here? You have to go back right now. We have to take you back to the place we can't be seen."
Yeah.
So he's a bit like, "Oh, what's going on with these spooky lady and these force sensitive girls?" They obviously do the break in. That pretty much the same.
And Dara's like, "Listen, bro, like you need to stop. You're obviously seeking personal reasons here."
Yeah, she does call him out. She's like, "Look, he makes it clear he wants an apprentice.
Obviously,
he wants to connect with someone as he wants to live that Jedi. He wants to be the best Jedi I think he can be, and then pass on that knowledge. Which, again, even though that's not necessarily always bad, it's still it's like Deadpool and Wolverine says, like you can't. Essentially, what Deadpool and Wolverine says, you can't want it. Like it has to want you, type of thing. Like you don't become a Jedi because you need it. You become a Jedi because they need it."
Aye, and that's his
issue. So
yeah,
his issue is a bit of ego and a bit of selfishness because he doesn't just do these things because it's the right thing to do. He does them because he wants it.
Kelnaka's chilling, he's fine, and Torben's like, I just want to go back to Coruscant, bro.
Yeah, good point to remember.
I just wanna
Kelnaka
leave.
is based in Chadid, and Torben is like, I'm
Yep.
fucking bored.
Him and Dara are just like, we're just here to do the job, bro.
Yeah. And Torben's like, I want to go home, and Sol's like, I want to have an apprentice and save these kids and have a hero complex.
Torben sees the Virgins as the vehicle to leave.
Yes.
If we discover it, they'll
Essentially,
surely
yeah.
let us go back.
Because do they not? No, they don't. But
Well, Torben's unaware why they're there, right?
yeah,
And then they have a wee campfire, and then Dara's like,
we're doing this to just check
da-da-da-da,
on this.
and then Sol's like, oh, we're
but it should
actually
be a
here
Virgins.
because of Virgins, and Torben's like, what's that? And Dara's like, you shouldn't have fucking said that.
Well, yeah, I
And
will say
then,
at the
sets him
start.
off.
At the start, does Torben go alone, or is it the second time does Torben
He
go
runs
alone?
off, and then Sol chases him, and then they go.
Okay, that's the first time.
And then they come back to get in Dara, and it's like, in Dara, we probably should go check it out because they're going to do like, Sol goes first himself after seeing the girls, and is like sneaking about in the rafters.
He climbs up the mountain, he sees
And
like
then
the
he's like,
witches going ooga booga in front of
there's
like a pit.
Oh shit, they're going to do like a ritual tonight.
They see them like
we
training
need
in
to
like
go.
forced combat shit.
Yep.
Again, it's a perspective shift. You only see certain bits, and he's like, oh,
Yep.
there's like a weird coven of fucking witches. And he goes back and he's like, Dara, look, there is a fucking coven of
Like,
witches
we
doing
need to-
experiments we need to do.
We need to
And
go.
Dara's like, okay, I can't admittedly decline that there is a spooky cut. If I know Sol's got issues, but he also wouldn't lie, I don't think, at this point. If the witches are doing weird force shit and something's gonna happen tonight, and he truly believes the girl's in danger, we should investigate. So they do the break in, they get involved, they investigate. We also find out that specifically Anastasia's little like zhuzh on Torben was about his anxieties about going home.
Yes.
We see inside his mind, and she's like, "Hey, I'll like help you get home. Like why don't you just listen to me? I'll give you a break."
I can hear you. I know what your thoughts are.
And that's like, oh, poor Torben's exhausted. That kid.
Nah, man.
They do the little force tests. The Jedi Council are like, 2 old losers, bye.
Yep. Aye.
Even though she's big on it. Meanwhile, Coral's like, we see a bit more. Even though this is the Jedi perspective, we do see a couple of extra scenes, like Mother Coral specifically going to May, like, hey, maybe you should start a fire and burn the Jedi down if you don't want to leave.
Yeah,
like,
she's inciting some violence. Know what I'm saying?
We
She doesn't
see-
like the Jedi at all.
we see May's like,
Presumably because like they've done some bad shit to Dathomir. Or
well,
like,
that's true. Or even just the witches. They do say,
Or
like, oh, we
specifically
had to
that
come here
coven.
to get away from like the prying eyes of the galaxy.
Yeah,
and
that
the Jedi would
specific
judge us.
Coven, yeah.
And to be frank, this episode shows us, yep, they do. The
They
Jedi
do
don't
just-
make an attempt to understand. They're just like, you look like spooky witches. That's a
Yep.
problem.
Well, listen, a specific kind of Jedi. Like, Indara was happy to just do the mission.
It's true.
Sol is like, I'm sticking my foot right in the shit here
Yes.
because I want a Padawan, and it's the only thing I'm focused on right now.
I think it's also I want a Padawan, and I also want to do the noble thing. I want to protect the innocent children from the evil witches and protect the wellspring of the Force.
That's how he sees
I'm
it,
a
yeah.
noble Jedi hero.
That's how he sees it. He's like, oh, I am so noble. I am the one.
Yeah,
I will
I'm
save
him.
them.
I'm literally him a wee bit, actually.
Literally, and it's like, bro, sometimes you'll know him.
Bro thinks he's still on Jaos.
Wee bit.
And they do they do the wee test. We see May's one, and yeah, she's just fucking, I don't want to be here. Bye.
And they're like, cool.
They're like,
fine.
whatever, cool. I think they call her out on it, but she's like, yeah, whatever.
Mm.
They do blood tests on them both as well. We did see that in the
Oh
the
my
first
god,
one, but
midichlorians, aren't they cool?
Midichlorians. Do you remember Star Wars episodes 1 to 3? Well, specifically M Count. Remember the Mandalorian season 3 and Bad Batch?
Don't like
Season 2,
midichlorians.
season
No,
3 even.
not a fan. Midichlorians.
Well, I like how they portray them in this, which is like, and it's the way that people have always sort of made peace with them in their brains since the prequels, which were like,
We've all got
midichlorians
them.
aren't the thing you need. It's like a concept of a marker. If you look at if you see a lot of midichlorians, you're like, well, that means you've probably got force in you. It's more that not that the midichlorians mean you can do force. It means the
Because that's dumb as
midichlorians.
fuck.
Yeah, that's stupid. The force is energy. It's natural. It's religious. It's spiritual. It's not like a power up. It's not Star Wars: The Force Unleashed where you
Aye.
unlocked a certain level. I think it's more the midichlorians are likely to gather around you if you are potential for force.
Right.
So you could potentially have force users who just don't have many midichlorians, but they can still do the force and stuff like that.
Aye.
So I think it's more. I think the chicken comes before the egg, whereas the prequels kind of made it sound like the egg comes before the chicken.
I just want like somebody with like one single midichlorian to become like the most powerful Jedi
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Sith in the galaxy. That'd
Literally.
be cool. I just want to see that story one time.
I don't think they say that they've got high midichlorians, but they don't have
Did they
like.
not say they have like skyrocket ones because they are genuinely from a virgins?
I think they say they're like. I don't think they're as bad as Anakin, but they're like apparently they're quite higher compared to average.
Yeah.
The thing that freaks folks out though is that they not only have they got midichlorians, but they're also like
exactly
the blood
the
is like the same.
Aye,
and they're not like in a twin way, like literally DNA biologically the same.
And that's how they work out that they are the virgins.
Yeah, they work out that they are the virgins because like they are one person split in two.
Yeah.
And this is also after OSHA's test. Because the council they're too old.
Yep, and Dara's like, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't get involved. But then they're like, oh, by the way, these are two kiddos that are literally the same person, and they're like, they are the virgins. And
they're still like, no, don't do it.
Or at least they're the evidence of the virgins.
Yeah.
And basically, yeah, you get the two part. Torben's like, oh my god, okay, if I show the council these kids, I get to go home because then it'll be the proof of the virgins, and the council can do their own thing, and I don't have to fuck about hovering out plants anymore.
Aye.
This is what we were looking for, and I found it.
Yeah.
Soul goes after him, and Soul's like, me too.
I guess I can just steal the kid and like.
Soul's like, do you know what? I also want to save the kids as well. I think that this whole virgin thing is important as well. I'm a noble knight. I'm going to save these.
But mainly, I'm going to train the kid, and it's going to be great.
And I'm definitely, this little girl wants to be trained. I mean, I really want to train this little girl, which sounds a bit weird, but you know, he just really wants to like pass on his knowledge and have a friend and all that shit.
I guess.
So they basically they break back in. Dara and Kiranaka are like, fuck, we gotta go. They've gone. We better just follow along.
We better just stop this shit.
What happens is while Osha and May are arguing and the fire's about to break out, the Jedi get to the courtyard and the witches are there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after May starts the fire, she runs away, and while Osha's kicking about in the vents,
yes,
May comes back up, and basically there's a sort of a confrontation. The witches are angry. They've got weapons. They're like, hey, ooh, you shouldn't be here, we told you to go away, and like now you're back to literally kidnap our kids this time, and they're like, yep, we want your kids because you're spooky witches, we don't like that. It's all very, very tense, and May shows up and she's like, like I did a bad thing. Now, Soul, people have talked, this also might be Soul not even realising it's May and just thinking it's Osha. Soul just in his haste is a bit like, oh, I think I actually does shout Osha to be fair, but he's a bit like, there's a kid, I need to go get that kid. Mother is like, nope, she goes ghost, Danny Phantom. She goes smoke mode and starts to use her magic. It's about like the Night Sisters, how they can become like fire and like flat about.
Right.
They just can become like dark smoke. They've confirmed in interviews. It's kind of unclear in the episode, but Anastasia becomes smoke and May starts to become smoke. And apparently it's yes, because it's like a transport magic. Yeah. Anastasia was going to move them away.
Aye.
Admittedly, she also becomes an evil fucking monster for a moment. Like the dust like stretches her face out, and she looks like a fucking vampire.
It's just how it be, bro. Sometimes.
Well, yes, I think it's like it's like the way these things just look as they're going. It's perspective. Soul just sees like fucking oogie spooky monster face, and also the girl I'm trying to save has just become dust.
Just die.
And Soul turns around and he kills.
He just stabs her.
Mother Anastasia. He stabs the mother of the girls. He stabs her. It was fear. It was misguided. It was judgment. He didn't understand their culture. It was like, you're a spooky witch and you're going to hurt these girls. Fucking die. But okay, not
just
like violently.
Straight murder, man.
I think he regrets it immediately, but he's still a bit like, I know I have to do this. This seems like the right move.
Definitely regrets it because she's like, man, you were just going to get the kid tomorrow. Like,
exactly. And dying in her arms, the mother is like, I was just going to fucking give you Osha anyway, you loser. And he's like, oh, no. The remaining witches all channel their power together. They all fucking link hands and they're like, we're not going to possess one guy to fall. Yeah. We are going to mind fuck a Wookiee.
Well, we need that many to mind fuck a Wookiee.
Yeah, they all get together and they invade Kilnaka's consciousness and they turn Kilnaka against them.
Yep, so he starts fucking up Torben.
He starts going mad, starts fighting. He really fucks up Torben. Yeah. Right before Kilnaka gets possessed, they do a fight and Torben seems quite competent. He does some lightsaber spins and deflect bolts.
But nah.
But Kilnaka is like a lightsaber and he's got claws.
And he's a Wookiee.
Kilnaka specifically is a Wookiee. He's big, he's strong. Man, he slams Torben against the wall and slashes his face with his claws. This is an important note because it reflects on why Kilnaka was away. Because obviously we're finding out why, and Dara in the first episode was kind of just doing her duty. She was off on a planet being good to the locals.
Aye.
She has one like little teardrop tattoo in the flashbacks, but then when she gets killed in the first episode and the present, she has two. So that's her little reminder, we think, a little reminder of something bad happening.
Damn.
Torben obviously took the Barish vow, and then and Kilnaka is in the woods. Now, in Legends, and I think in canon, and in just general Wookiee lore, to attack an opponent with your claws is the most dishonourable thing you can do.
Oh, bro, rip.
You get labelled a mad claw and you get excised from the tribe.
He just excised himself for the
Jedi. Because people, it's a bit like, well, I bet you even the Wookiees would be like, you were fine, you were mind controlled.
Aye.
But because of the actual things that happened, on top of that as well, it looks like his own personal guilt. He's like, I'm just essentially rendering myself a mad claw. I'm just going to go out into the woods. I need to be away from this.
Aye.
They do get back through him. Specifically, Dara shows up and she has a spaceship and she jumps down and sort of tries to mind meld with Kilnaka.
She does. She fixes him.
This is another thing that kind of had to get explained in the interviews because it's kind of visually not sure. But essentially, she's Kiranaka. He wakes up, and then all the witches fall down dead. And in the interviews, Leslie was like,
just too
because
much.
Essentially, Indara used the Force to sever this bond. The witches were doing some weird mind meld shit, and Indara came in with like essentially a Force cleaver. So it was just fucking like essential head trauma. Like the witches were in the middle of fucking brain transfer, and
they dead, bro.
She just came in there, so yeah, they all fucking fall down dead. That's how the witches did, and that was technically Indara, who was the good one.
Aye.
No, I'm not saying that one's as much of a direct crime, but it's just another like in the path to like we're trying to do what we think is best at the moment, and even Indara to try and save these lives in Camden and Wookiee accidentally killed a bunch of like
just
innocent
the actual
witches.
worst choices made by everyone.
Obviously the fortress is on fire, so it's revealed that technically the fortress fire was still May's fault. It was an accident because one little fire sparked onto something else, and that sparked through the whole thing. It all just got caught in the electrics.
Yeah,
we see
they never could leave anyway.
It's true
because May fucks the door.
Yeah, May does fuck the door. Actually, May literally like locks her in and starts a fire right outside the door.
No, like the door to the compound.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like the elevator and that as well. You're right. And then we get the bit where May and Osha are together again, and we get it from Soul's perspective, and it's a bit more.
It's fucked up, man.
It's a bit more fucked up.
It's
so
fucked up.
The bridge they were on crumbles and starts to fall, and Soul uses the Force then
to grab them both.
He grabs the bridge.
Yeah, aye.
And he's trying to hold them both up, and he just can't, and he kind of has to make a decision.
And he chooses quite swiftly.
He's like, do you know what? I want Osha. Osha's the cool one. May's the villain. May did start this fire.
She's a bam.
So he consciously lets go of May first.
Aye. Yes.
To watch May tumble to her death, and then he kind
Osha.
Like Osha has a bit more time, and he can kind of put his both forces, and he still sort of falls because he loses concentration, but he has now the attention to grab Osha. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, he isn't necessarily deliberate. Like, I can kill that bitch, May.
No, but he's definitely like, I
don't
like mind if she dies.
I know who I'd like to live, and I know who I'd like to die.
Aye.
And he does the whole like, oh, sorry, let's go. Again, like, oh, don't worry about the corpses of your friends and family. Let's go, bye bye.
Aye.
And then when they get back to the ship, Soul does the whole like, you're my friend, let's go. But Indara is specifically at the side where Indara, and again, Indara's a good one, is like the one who decides to like lie. She's like, look, you saw May die.
Yeah.
Like, May did start the fire. We need to just leave it at that.
Because it's just too much an issue if we just tell the truth.
It'll fuck up the council, it'll fuck up us, but it'll fuck up May. Osha, she puts it from the perspective of that, like, you want to train her fine. You made this happen, so train her. But if we tell her the truth, if we get the truth out, it'll just ruin our fucking life again.
That's your cross to bear now.
Yes.
So you
specifically you as well. We'll all bear the cross, but you especially.
You caused this, so you must do it.
What you saw, alright?
You have to give her the proper training.
Yeah. So now we have the full picture. And I have to say I'm really happy about it, because a lot of people did say, and I said earlier, that this was the mystery. The real mystery was what happened.
Right.
And I think it was suitably complex. I think there was a lot of factors at play, and there wasn't an explicit good guy, bad guy divide. There was just people with desires and opinions and prejudices and misunderstandings.
I think there's like obvious bad guy.
Who thinks I was bad guy?
Saul?
Well, I guess he gets the brunt of the blame because he allowed himself to be controlled by his like selfishness. But you have to understand what he's.
I do understand that.
Like, all of it, first off, a lot of his actions regarding the witches are more based on the fact that all he has seen and understood is like, wow, these are fucking spooky weirdos that are going to like hurt these girls.
It's
like,
his prejudice of witches.
And we can't all be innocent of prejudice, even though he should be. He should be more thoughtful and more delicate. So I think he's the closest to being the bad guy in the scenario.
Absolutely.
But again, nothing was done out of deliberate maliciousness.
No.
He knew what he wanted, and he made sort of actions to that. It's not like he manipulated things to go the way he wanted. It's more just when it came to the time to make choices, he was like, well, I'll favour what I want. You know, this would be a better outcome for me, which is bad. But it's not like, again, it's a difference between, I guess I'll let May fall because May's the meaner one and I want Osha more. Yeah. It's not like I'm going to actively drop May and actively kill her.
I'm going to cut it in half.
Intention's important here. Plus, regret as well. We know that Soul does regret these things. It's not like he's doing these things willy-nilly. He's a bit like, well, at least I got what I wanted, but fuck me, man. Okay, that was pretty fucking shit.
That was terrible, aye.
So, I mean it like that. He does sort of come out the worst looking of it. There is sort of things. I mean, the witches still have some issues. They were still super insular, super hostile, and super creepy. But the Jedi were equally dogmatic and sort of inflexible.
The Master Freak.
It's going to say everyone was a little bit in the wrong. But it was good that the Jedi were shown to be in the wrong.
But is the cult being like insular and like wary of outsiders an issue?
I think not to a degree. Like there is levels where you're allowed to just be like that. The problem is the cult were like openly hostile and they didn't exactly do anything to dissuade any fears. They actively lied about having the girls there.
I don't think they're openly hostile.
They've always got their webs in their hands. They're like, hey, you need to fucking get out of here because you're not welcome here.
Yeah, but that's because they've invaded their fortress.
There is a degree of that, but then they're about
they're
like,
not.
hey,
Well, let me say, like they're not going out and like fucking the Jedi up outside their place. They're just like aware they're there, and the mother's saying leave them be. We don't need to speak to them.
I agree. No, I agree with you. I just mean we'll look at like things like hey, we get reason to believe you get kids here and you're doing up some weird shit. Like nope, you're just lying. You're just a dumb Jedi who doesn't get it. And then it's like the kids are like, no, they actually do have kids here, and actually they do. Like and there's another really important little point that I missed on the May one, and it's again misinterpretation, and it's not even May's fault, or maybe by accident deliberately, and that's this whole thing they're going through, the little ritual. Like it's like a thing that you have to pass through fear. You have to like maybe sacrifice a bit of yourself to like become who you're meant to be. And when May's getting a Jedi interview, May like they're like, "What are you going to do?" And May's like, "We're going to do like the magic ritual. Yeah. You have to get scared, and you have to sacrifice someone." She misremembers what's being said. So again, it's another like they're already like, man, I think these girls are getting fucked up. And one of the little girls is like, "Yeah, we like sacrifice someone. It's really scary."
Someone.
Yeah, she specifically says like someone you have to sacrifice yourself. So Anastasia says you have to sacrifice a part of yourself, but May misremembers it as you have to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah.
So again, misinterpretation, misunderstanding, but inflexibility in the face of that, unwillingness to talk. I think the Jedi are in the moral wrong and the witches are in the moral right, but I think there was leeway that could have been had on both sides.
Absolutely, just leave each other alone. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that too as well. Completely leave each other alone. Although, I mean, Osha did want to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe the Jedi were weird for breaking in and that. They probably could have went about it better. Especially with the cult trying to lie and keep them hidden. But Osha herself had the right to investigate. She had the right for the Jedi to say, like, hey, you can come get involved if you want.
We'll only know if we could ask the Force.
Of course, bro.
Why would you make this event occur?
Why would you
the Force
do this?
Excuse me, Force. Why would you do this? So,
they're at the finale. Episode 8, The Acolyte. And it's all converging. Sol goes back to Brendok. He's like, I'm going to tell you, I've told you the truth now. We're going to go back to where it all started. But I'm also, like, it's going to be symbolic because I'm going to get folk to come get me. I want us all to come back there to the site of my original sin.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he goes in and pings the location, although we
all know they're going there.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much. We go back to Osha and the think tank and the fucking sensory deprivation, and she gets all fucked up because the dark side floods in a wee bit.
Well, she's just feeling the feels.
I think it's overwhelming. I mean, if you're in a complete sensory when can be scary for the people when you're first time doing it.
It's the bad feels.
And then with the Force, you're getting sent things, and she gets a vision because she's got this link to May, which she's had a couple of times. She sort of feels May and sees through May a wee bit, or at least just feels her presence. So in the deprivation, she sees May like in the real world. Probably because she's so connected to the Force, she's able to just literally link that connection completely.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know where they are. I know where they're going.
The thread, bro.
While Osha and the stranger depart, a creepy monster man emerges from the cave.
Yeah, who's always been there, I guess, watching.
Who's always been there. He has gnarled, fucked up little fingers, and he is immune. He is a banking clan man.
Oh.
He has a big tall head.
Is that a race?
Yes, that's the name of the. Do you remember the guy in Attack of the Clones who goes, "The banking clan will sign your treaty"?
No. That's
Do you remember the episode of the Clone Wars where they go to the bank planet?
Nope.
Rush Clovis?
Bro, that's...
It's the big clock.
That's Darth Plagueis, the Wiz.
It's Darth fucking Plagueis the Wise.
Probably.
And this works. He could be that old. He's Plagueis, he extends his life. Guy can't
die, bro.
Darth Plagueis is there in a cave. And I think this is when the concept of the Acolyte fully clicked for me finally. I mean, they ruminate on it, but... And what would you call it? Leslie compared it mostly to a Sage Ventress.
Right.
An Acolyte is literally stage 3 in the process. You have a Sith Master.
Right.
You have a Sith Apprentice. The Apprentice will always rise up to kill the Master. Usually the Apprentice will take on an Acolyte to help him kill the Master, and then that will become their Apprentice. A Sage Ventress was Dooku's Acolyte. He wanted to get her right on side, and then they would kill Palpatine, and Dooku would take over eventually.
Right.
Probably further down the line than they were, and Palpatine also get wise to it, and he's like, no, we're not doing this bullshit.
Right. And Asajj turns anyway.
What?
Asajj turns anyway.
Oh, turns good. Yeah. I thought you meant like against him, because obviously Asajj, he tries to assassinate Asajj, and then she betrays him, but yeah, she also becomes good. So yeah, Darth Plagueis is there. He's creepy. He's evil. He's in a cave. He's got spooky eyes. Doesn't say anything. Presumably that's Chymere's master.
Yeah.
Now,
definitely.
This is where that thing about the planet comes into effect.
Right.
If it's not Acto, it could be another Legends famous rocky island planet
with some vergencies on it, no doubt.
No, not vergencies. More like a strong presence of the Force and Cortosis veins.
That's where he makes
which
his
is
helmet.
Literally a thing in these episodes.
That's in the cave probably that he's in.
I can't remember it. It's like fucking Bill Bringy or like Bill Tom Bombadil.
Okay.
Fucking Baldemnik. It is actually Baldemnik. I got it.
Right.
Baldemnik.
Okay.
It is where in Legends Darth Plagueis kills his master Darth Tenebrous.
All right. So we're still there, unless that's Tenebrous and the boys Plagueis.
Well, no, I that would be Stinky Poo Poo Pee Pee, because Plagueis has been immune all the time. Every time Plagueis was depicted in canon Legends, he was that long head face person.
All right, that's fine then.
Tenebrous also, coincidentally, when he was depicted, was a Bith, which is the Cantina band.
Right.
So you've got the light and dark a little bit there. You've got the jovial one size of Cantinas, and then you've got the fucking evil man with a fucking set of armour shooting lightning at his fingers.
Woohoo.
And if we want to chuck out names, there's also Venomous, who's Tenebrous' master.
Well,
that's a bit.
There's some things that obviously are happening then, so.
I have a theory about the Acolyte that I'll expunge on the end, but essentially, Chimere isn't a Darth. Chimere's not part of this.
No, he's dying before we see him.
He's definitely dying before, yeah. And Darth Plagueis, of course, famously is the master of Darth Sidious.
Yes.
Emperor Palpatine.
Who eventually does kill him.
Yeah. It does happen. Plagueis and Palpatine have some fucking experiments about life, about moving stuff around, about creating stuff. It's a bit ahead, but as I say in this episode, Chimere finds out the truth about May and Osha. So the thought process is he'll go back and go, hey, it turns out these fuckers are made of the Force, and that's a thing you can do.
Surely he is aware of it already.
Well, this is that we just don't know. We simply just don't know yet. Either he was aware of it and he's like, yeah, bro, I was the one who did it in the first place. Or he didn't know and he's like, oh, this is interesting ancient knowledge from... Because the idea that it's like one little secret coven of witches, I love that. You don't want it to be like the Sith could always have done this.
Right.
You want it to be like if Plagueis had to find out from somewhere, it was a bit like, oh yeah, like the lost fucking art of this one fucking coven of witches who also happen to find divergence.
Right.
He's like, well, I could maybe try that. I could get up to something. Maybe he didn't have a versions handy, so he's like, well, I'll just use my own fucking raw power. And Legends, specifically Sidious and Plagueis together, they mush their fucking dark sides and they wow. Like the Force. Apparently, they simply described as them pouring the dark side into the natural Force. How the fuck they do that? And that is what prompts, as we talked about, the creation of Anakin. The Force is like, ow, stop fucking hitting me. This dark side is bullshit. There's too much of it. I'm going to create an avatar of the light.
They just create like a pool of darkness.
Yeah, so they don't
which then tips the scale of the Force to then create Anakin as a balance.
Also, in general, the concept of them existing and amassing their dark side energy and using it is becoming such a loud issue because they're getting a bit more public now. They're getting a bit more power. Plagueis in the Legends was a high-ranking member of the banking clan. He essentially bankrolled the clone army. Right. And obviously Palpatine's a fucking tie-in center. Phantom Menace becomes the supreme fucking chancellor. So they're really getting into their power. I think the Force is also realising that, and they're also just like and they're casting spells and shit in their caves. And the Force is like, I have to respond. I have to create an avatar of the light, someone who can, a chosen one to rise up against this. But the idea of that starting here, of Plagueis being like, oh, I can maybe try and influence the Force to create life. Midichlorians of the Force to create life. So maybe this isn't him creating Anakin, this is more just him experimenting with the Force to do life. So maybe he's a bit like, well, I can't create life because I'm not that good, but I can graft life onto me. Right. I can maybe extend my own life. I can maybe heal others by using the Force in this way. I'd like that as well.
Ahsoka can do that, no?
Sorry?
Ahsoka can do that, no?
Ahsoka... What?
She can heal people, no?
I think she maybe has Force in it. It's kind of what Rey does as well. Right. Rey has a sort of a light side version of it in like Rise of Skywalker, weirdly enough, one of the only things I kind of liked about that movie, because they also established in it she has to give up a little bit of herself.
Yeah.
Obviously, when she's like covering up scars, it's like, okay, well, that's not gonna like oh, that's shaved off 5 years of my life. Like, obviously not. But she is ostensibly like giving up a little bit of her own light to it that she has to like recover in that. Don't know how the dark side version works. I like to think of it like, Plagueis looks fucked up.
Right.
And I imagine he'll continue to look fucked up if he's like shooting dark side into himself. And
right.
And I like to imagine that, like, yeah, he's still alive, but he's like wheezing and he has to get like a fucking cyborg leg or some shit. Like, he's like, yeah, I use the Force to keep myself alive, but because it's the dark side, it'll be like but at what cost?
Damn.
Like, what even are you now?
Bro.
I think that's the good end game for Plagueis. Okay. I'd like him to show up, I'd like him to talk, and I'd like him to have a really cool voice.
Right. Okay.
We thought David Harewood was going to be Plagueis.
Right.
But he wasn't.
He was not, he was just the Chancellor guy.
Yeah, David Harewood does appear in the finale as the eponymous Senator Raincourt.
HR guy.
Who gets stinky with Vernestra, and we will get back to him because his scenes are after the main sort of plot, but
right.
I like David Harewood. We'll get back to it. So, on Breaddock, it's all kicking off. Everyone's sort of running about the fortress. Osha gets in a fight with May. Sol gets in another fight with Khmer.
Yeah.
Basically, they then bleed out, and May shows up to help Khmer and disarm Sol. Then Sol basically says, look, here's the deal with you guys. You guys are aversions. The witches did this. I only did what I thought was best. And he's like, yeah, what did you do, Sol? And Sol's like, I did kill your mum.
Yes.
And then Osha shows up.
And
then May's like, yeah, do you want to say that again louder for the people in the back? And Sol's like, yeah, I'm sorry. We did sort of cause the issues. I did kill your mum.
Yeah.
And some of the issues were our fault. Some of them were definitely May's, but we definitely did that. And I'm very fucking sorry.
We did like a lot of problems.
I'm legitimately sorry, but I did fuck up. It's my fucking cross to bear. But he also does he's like, but we're doing the right thing. You deserve the chance to escape. Everyone was a bit creepy. We thought you weren't safe. Which, again, it's doesn't. It's a bit like, it's good to know, his motives were sort of good, but come on, dude, like, is this the time? Like, I know I killed your mother, but I promise I did it for a good reason. Yeah. Like, so there's a bit of like read the room a bit. Also, his lightsaber gets damaged as well. Soul's lightsaber gets damaged. It gets caught up because this is important.
It is.
Basically, at the prompting of May and Khmer, Osha sort of loses it. She's been slowly getting the doubts creeping in as she starts to think and realise.
Well, in the last episode, there's been mention of like what happened on Breaddock. I'll tell you later.
Yeah,
Don't
the fact
worry
that
about
you never
it.
really went the truth. She always knew, like, the more we learn something was wrong,
There's something else you're not telling me.
There's also, like, in the last episode, Khmer prompts me a bit like, oh, so what actually happened? Like, why did you not become a Jedi? And she's got a lot of anxiety about that because she reveals that she didn't just simply leave politely and calmly. She
get out of my
failed.
past. Yeah.
She couldn't quite get out
well,
of her
we
head.
learned that she failed very early on.
Yeah, well, it sounds like she says, like, she couldn't get over like what happened on Breaddock, so she couldn't really commit herself to the teachings was imbalanced, and she flunked out, so she got anxiety about that. And then she finds out, this entire world breaking anxiety, the thing that fucked you up for so long, this anxiety and upset, it was caused by the guy who was also the one trying to be like, I love you and I'll keep you safe and don't worry, nothing's actually my fault. So total betrayal. Even if he thought he was doing the right thing, and it's an inevitability for a liar revealed. It's an inevitability. When you hide something from someone, when that comes out, it'll always be a problem, especially the longer you wait to reveal it. And she loses it, and she kills him. She force chokes him.
I know, aye.
She's so...
Right, man.
She's been listening to Khmer being like, man, maybe you can tap into the dark side. That power that you fail to get in the light side, if you use your emotions, if you use your anger, that you could still get it. And
you'll feel it.
She's gripping on his lightsaber as well. It's like his totem, and she's fucking and she force chokes him. And he does give her absolution. He's like, it's fine. Do you know what? I forgive you. Like, don't worry about it. He doesn't necessarily I deserve this, but he's pretty much like, I'm okay to go. This is kind of my punishment for what I did. I deserve this a little bit. He doesn't say it again, but I think he realises this had to happen. I really can't escape this. And she fucking crushes his windpipe. And now this is... There's sort of a lot of dialogue about this, and it's also a bit of visualising, but the lightsaber in Sol's crystal shifts, it crackles, it pops, it fizzes, and she sort of... I don't know if she turns... I think does she aim the blade at Khmer or something, or... Because the lightsaber comes on, but I don't know if it comes on... I can't remember if it comes on its own, or she's like... Khmer's
it comes on... It comes on green.
No, but it comes on Chimera does try and get up to him, but oh, cool, you're killing people. She's like, I'm about to get back. And it comes on blue, but it also immediately starts it goes red.
Uh-huh.
Now this is a thing for the comics and the books, and it's a lore thing called bleeding, which is when a dark side user, usually a Sith, but not always, the red lightsaber crystals are created by tarnishing and pouring dark side and negative energy into a kyber crystal, corrupting a kyber crystal.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're not synthetic.
So it's not synthetic. Not that was Legends, I'm afraid.
Right.
They just made it. I like this more because it's cool and it's spiritual, and also the Darksiders usually go through shit. We've seen Darth Vader bleed his crystal in the Charles Soule comic. We saw Kylo Ren bleed his in the Charles Soule Kylo Ren comic. His was fucked up because he was so conflicted that he does it, but it shatters a little bit, and that's why he has to jam it in that weird fuck off lightsaber that has vents. Just to squash some questions I've heard, because also, again, every episode of the Acolyte, something would happen, and Chuds on the internet would be like, this is ruined lore. Ki-Adi-Mundi is slightly older now. This ruins lore. The twins were created by the Force. This ruins Anakin lore. People were angry at the finale because, like, why does this happen?
Right.
Now, if you want to be pedantic, first off, the lightsaber being broken gave a lot more direct access to the kyber crystal. The kyber crystal was literally outside. You could see it. It was cut off and you could see the crystal.
Right.
So it's a lot closer. It's pouring the energy in it. So Osha is experiencing the worst feeling of betrayal and rage at this point. So that bleeds into the crystal naturally. People then are like, why didn't Anakin's crystal change when he killed all the younglings? Because Anakin's crystal was inside its lightsaber, and also he wasn't consciously doing it. Also, Anakin wasn't necessarily consciously feeling his rage at that point. I feel he was doing the action for a purpose. It wasn't until he really mired in it, like sobbing, what have I done? When he became Darth Vader, that's when he properly felt these emotions.
Right.
But yes, let's be pedantic. Anakin's crystal wasn't exposed. He was simply just doing a thing. Right. This was like the emotional connection to the exposed actual kyber crystal. And yes, in the comic examples, both Darth Vader and Kylo Ren take the crystal out. Well, Kylo Ren doesn't even have his lightsaber. Oh, well, no, he takes it out of his Jedi one. They both have the crystal physically out in their hand.
Right.
They don't bleed through a lightsaber. Dagon Gera, it happens in the games. Jedi Survivor, spoilers. Jedi Survivor, spoilers. A character bleeds a lightsaber crystal and he takes the crystal out of the lightsaber. That one's quite quick. He sort of just like wakes up and he's of a thing and he's like, I fucking hate the Jedi. It turns red. Right. But it makes sense if you learn what happens. So yeah, I'm sorry, you might not care about the fuck I've just said. I've seen some pedantic shit online, and not that people listen to me, but I just wanted to put that little factoid down there if you care about the logistics of this. I don't, because it's emotional, it's spiritual, and it's just a fucking obvious indicator of Osha's alignment changing. Right. Yeah. She has committed a murder in cold blood through rage and anger. She is sort of if she's not in it, the slippery slope is slipping. Do you know what I mean? And obviously Chimere's a bit like, ooh, what have you done? What's going on there? Right. But we can't sit down because the fucking Jedi are coming. The Jedi are coming. And they sort of escape, they all run away. They do, yeah. Vernestra shows up and finds Soul and finds like, oh, Jesus, okay, we're here then, I guess. That's a shame. They go back to the tree, the little tree I mentioned they keep going to, and they sort of reconcile, but they're a bit like, look. But not before Vernestra sees. Oh, yes, Vernestra does see Chimera, actually. Vernestra sees Chimera, and she's like, I know who that gay fucker is. And there is, like, a thing. Something's going on there. So, yeah, that's a good point. It's important to know Vernestra sees Chimera. It's never, I mean, you alluded that there's whip marks on his back. It's never essentially, it's never stated that is the case. No, it is. It is. In one of the last scenes, yeah. Don't remember that. They don't, she doesn't specify my apprentice Chimera, but in one of the last scenes she says, like, we have to go get my former apprentice. Don't remember that. Oh, bro, man, needs to rewatch. The scene with Yoda? Before that. Spoilers, okay. Graham. Bro, we say spoilers. Spoilers for Yoda. The scene before that was just talking spoilers to me. To me? I don't remember that. I don't remember those words. I remember, like, the purpose of the scene, but I don't remember those words. Promise. I promise. Okay. Well, what I'll do is we'll work to there, because, yeah, the girls reconcile. They're like, do you know what? We did make mistakes, but obviously, like, May was always a bit right to be suspicious, and, like, you know, we're back together now, and that's what matters. But, however, it's about, like, the problem is we're always going to be in the run, and I suppose I can't quite remember the way the scene goes, but essentially, May is kind of, like, off the track now. I think Chimera's essentially given up on her, but Osha's like, I know you want me. I know I'm getting banned. You want me to be an apprentice. You want me. I'm much better
at all this.
Yeah, it's clear that I've got it in me as well.
And May
Plus
really doesn't give a shit anymore. She doesn't even want revenge on the Jedi as a whole, as a purpose, as
Well,
an
she's
organisation.
essentially fulfilled.
She doesn't care.
Yeah, she's essentially fulfilled because she's wanted to kill them to get revenge.
And
but
Osha's like,
Osha's
fine
still,
with me
she's
now.
like, she can't really get over it. Killing Soul doesn't really get over the years of betrayal, the sting of that. She's still in the emotional fold.
Yeah.
But also, just again, May just is not as good as Osha, as appealing. Osha killed a Jedi without a weapon, which we thought was metaphorical, but it turned out they meant the Force.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, maybe it could have been metaphorical, but she still literally fulfills the task. So she's like, look, okay, here's what we're going to do. I will come with you willingly if we can get May away and get May safe. I want May to be safe. I want her to not be attached to this till her life. But I feel like to do that, we kind of need to we need to erase her memory. She can't know us. She can't be used to get to us.
Can we do that, bro?
And I think that's a thing. I guess it's not really... I mean, yeah, the Jedi have always sort of fucked a bit with memories.
Some sort of thing.
Jedi mind trick's like a memory fuck, essentially.
Like, they ask the guy, and he's like, yes, that we've done that before.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's...
Did they do it again? I think they did it before in the show.
Specifically, like, they do, like, mention an example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I can't remember what.
He's like, you can do that, right? And then he's like, yeah, I can do that, right?
He is a bit like, it's not exactly like a snap of the wrist. He's like, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to fuck about for a minute. And it's not, it's an indelicate procedure.
I don't recall what example is used, but they do use an example.
Aye, there is an example. So it's not just out of nowhere. So so they do that. They're like, we need to get rid of May's memory, 'cause that way they can't use her to get to us that much.
Yeah.
They can't like read her mind and chase us down. And there's also more of a chance she can live a peaceful life. You know, the less she knows about us, the more she can sort of become disconnected from it.
Yeah.
And they have a really heartfelt goodbye, and then he does the thing, the stranger, and leaves her be to be picked up by the Jedi. And she's a bit like, hey, I don't know what the fuck I am or what I've done or what's going on. Sorry. So we go back to Coruscant. They scoop up May and they take her back. Everyone's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Raincourt's obviously kicking about. He wants his little investigation, and unfortunately, like, Vanessa's like, well, I have to tell the council something. But she decides, look, I can't quite... Now, we don't really have all the answers here. She knows Chymir's involved.
Yeah.
She knows that she's like a fallen Jedi or like a Sith-like. She can't say Sith again. Remember, the Sith are like a specific cultish order. You can't just assume a dark side user is the Sith, because that's like assuming you bump into a guy who's like, I'm a Christian. I'm like, okay, cool. Are you a Protestant or are you a Westboro Baptist Church fundamentalist KKK?
Right.
You can't assume. So she's just like, there's a problem here. There's a dark side user who I know personally. So she essentially is like, right, I have to pariah Soul because all these people are dead and I can conveniently wrap up in a bow. Jedi Master Soul did this bad thing.
What an arsehole.
But he also crumbled under the pressure and he killed all these Jedi Masters.
What's a bad man?
And it's like, that's fucked. It's fucked that she blamed it on him. That's fucked that you did that, Vanessa. And I get why you did it, but I don't like that you did it. I don't.
To be honest, deserved it.
Fucking what?
Deserved it. Soul sucks ass, man.
Do you know what? We're nearly done, but we can get to there, because what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Soul sucks ass, man.
Pogged up the nut.
Nah, bro. He poo-poo. Like, one of worst Jedi to ever exist, IMO.
Oh, you
The only good thing he did was Jackie, and that's it.
That sounds like a drug. He did some Jackie. And yeah, Raincourt's like, I'm going to do my little stinky now, because the Supreme Chancellor's like, or not even the Supreme Chancellor, just like the Chancellor of the Senate. It's like, well, what the fuck? You guys are the Jedi killing Jedi. Aye. Maybe you guys, and you didn't tell us about this until now. And
well,
we just found out. And it's like, well,
they have that scene before she buries Saul,
where she gets confronted by Raincourt. Yes, they do. Where he's a bit like, I want to get involved. I think you shouldn't have unchecked power. I think you lied to us and all that. Yeah. And then it's like, yeah, we did lie to you by accident, but we didn't have all the details. But they're like, doesn't matter. You guys had an issue here that you kept from us. You didn't give us the right updates. This is bad. We kind of have to. Raincourt's got a point. We have to capitulate to him now, because you did fuck up here badly, and that is that first indication of, oh god, now the politics are going to creep in. Now the seeds have been sown. We could go from here to the Phantom Menace, where they're essentially just a fucking a fascist arm of the military state. You know what I mean? Well, that's a bit harsh, but you know what I mean.
Definitely a bit harsh, but getting there.
Now she gets down with May, and she is a bit nice. She's also a bit of a liar. May is obviously like, I legitimately don't remember. She's like, I can tell you don't remember, I trust you.
But we're going to mind fuck you in the next season, no doubt.
Well, she's a bit like, this bad man called Soul did this bad thing, and he like fucking killed your family and that.
Aye.
I need your help to find
an even badder man.
Well, yes, to find your sister and to find someone naughty, who I used to teach, my older apprentice. She does say it. We'll pull the scene up after this. She definitely says it.
That's fine.
She doesn't necessarily say my former apprentice, Kymir, the guy who...
Fairly certain that is who it was anyway.
The looks and the hints, and then for her to just say, we need to find your sister and also this guy that I know that I used to train, a former apprentice of mine. And then, so that's the lead for me. Mm-hmm. And then we cut back to, I guess, Baldemnik.
The place.
And me and Kymir are just there. They hold hands, they sort of are joined in suffering a little bit.
And it's like, that's, you know what? I am now your acolyte.
But yes, I'm here, we're going to train, I'm going to become a naughty Sith, and we'll see what happens. And the show ends. And it is a fine time. Well, no, because also... But Nestor walks into the room and the door opens. She's like, we got to talk. And there's a little green puppet. Listen, Master Yoda, we must discuss. Because Grand Master Yoda. So Yoda obviously, is the Force, basically, right? Yoda's essentially, but that's, I think the prequels at least make Yoda a bit like a victim of it, as much as he's seen it. He's so old and wise that, I get it, but even he has blind spots. That's true. But at this point in time, he is the fucker. He has the OG. He has him a wee bit, and he kind of needs to know. And Yoda does know things. You must know about listen, there's disturbance. We are dealing with potential Sith activity, potential dark side user type beats. So he needs to be kept abreast. And Yoda's the one who mentions about the rule of two to Mace Windu and Phantom Menace. So Yoda does know shit beyond the rest of the people, because the rule of two, the point is you're not supposed to know about it. It was a secret. The whole point of the rule of two is that when the Sith War ended, one of the survivors, a guy Darth Bane, and he's like, we lost because there was 100 of us and we all fucking hated each other, and the Sith were constantly killing each other to jump the ranks and become the most powerful. I think instead we should just do it two at a time, master and apprentice, and the master teaches everything to the apprentice, and the apprentice kills the master, takes a new apprentice, and continues to look, and that'll just do a power creep, because the apprentice will just keep getting more powerful, And that is why a single Sith can take out the Jedi Order. Yes, because Palpatine is the end of a long fucking lineage of Sith. Venomous, Tenebrous, Plagueis. Plagueis fucking discovered how to fuck about with life and create fucking life and shit, or heal himself. So magic. That's what the rule of two is, but you're supposed to not know about it. It's a secret. So how does some people kind of semi-retcon it to be Yoda? What Yoda says is always two there are, a Sith, an apprentice and a master, no more, no less. You could read that as a rule of two, although people are trying to soft retcon it to be okay, maybe Yoda just means how there's always an apprentice and a master, how Jedi have an apprentice and a master, maybe he's talking generically, maybe he doesn't know about the actual capital S Sith. Maybe. I don't know. Yoda does know shit, though. I think, there's some text Yoda's read that he's not meant to have read. Shit, I think that's true. I think Yoda must have learned. He's been alive for fucking as of Empire Strikes Back, fucking when 900 years old you are. The thing is, good, you will not. To be a Jedi, to understand the Force, you would need to know both sides. Definitely, I'm not really. This is why Ahsoka, Qui-Gon are I'm not in a grey Jedi shit, but I'm in a Jedi who are actively try and understand and appreciate the complexity of the situation, or at least who spread themselves beyond just the dogma of the Jedi. Who just understand the ebb and flow of the Force and all the ways to experience it, and they allow themselves to be. That's a lot of thing. A lot of good Jedi allow themselves to be guided by the Force. They don't seek to control it or seek to claim it. They sort of just answer its call, and they will go places and do things, and they will do it right, and they will ask the Force for the help to do that. That's how they can use the Force. They can push and all that, because they essentially let themselves be that conduit, whereas a lot of Jedi, and obviously the Sith especially, were more no, this is a power we can wield. The Jedi are obviously better. Even up to the prequels, the Jedi were still we're not wielding the Force like a sword where it's flowing through us, but it was more the way they were going about using it was becoming corrupt. They were more adherent to other people's whims. They weren't focused on the good of the universe, the good of the galaxy. They were having to kowtow to pink tape and public opinion and fucking their own ideas about militarism, and another example is this whole even if they finds out about the Sith, we still had an instance where one Jedi went mental and killed a bunch of people, so we have to strip back. We should stop being so outreachy, we should stop being so distant, be very more focused. The clothing as well, obviously the High Republic, I mentioned how good the costumes were. The High Republic's got these fancy robes. They've got temple robes and mission robes, but also by the time the prequels, it's just one substandard Jedi robe for each person, maybe slightly different colours, but they're no, we can't be God anymore, we can't care about her appearance or take ourselves that seriously. It's just a cloak, I guess. There's no energy to it, and it's like, oh, we've lost the personality through wearing different colours. You've lost the respect for like that, and the I'm not saying ego driven. Maybe it could get ego, but you lost that sort of care for yourself and care for how you portray yourself to the world. You're happy to just become like a, because by the time the people, nobody even really knows what the Jedi are, because they're a lot more inside. They don't have outposts anymore. They stay in their temple. They're just worshipping shit, and occasionally the Senate will send them to fuck about on a planet somewhere.
Right.
And they're not trying to challenge that either. They're like, no, we should just stay insular. We should just not make any risks or think too hard.
Right.
We should just try and keep things as they are, follow the status quo, nothing can go wrong. And that complacency, that's what lets in the Sith even more and more and more. So that's that, I think. Yep, that's the season.
Okay.
That was Acolyte season 1. I still have my theory about season 2 and on, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But at the end, yeah, I thought it was good. I thought the murder mystery was great. I thought the characters were very nuanced. There was good and bad, but it wasn't all good and all bad. I thought the action was really great.
The action was great.
I think what keeps it from being Andor levels for me is a couple of polished things. Some things, like I think it maybe could have benefited from more episodes, honestly. A bit more time with some people.
Maybe.
Jackie and Yor were great, but they did sort of get introduced, have the requisite endearing moments, and then they died.
Aye.
I think, again, maybe you don't agree, but I just do feel that a lot of the cuts and the editing, especially how some of the episodes was a bit weird, especially at the start of the season.
I just don't know.
It just felt slightly rougher around the edges in some ways for me. I don't know why, but Andor's a very high bar to cross.
Yeah.
And Mandalorian season 1 as well was a very high bar to cross because it was the first one.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And they were really cooking on all cylinders. I think this show can be very cinematic, but also sometimes I feel like I remember my brain going, this is the opposite of cinematic, so I think...
I feel like it felt very TV. I don't think it felt very cinematic.
It did feel like TV at quite some points. I had some good shots of that, and I say good choreography, but there's also a lot more TV type things, which I guess that's like what it is. And but again, when your standards standards like Mandalorian season 1.
Aye.
So where are you at?
It's just fine, aye. It's just fine, dude.
You're allowed to just think it's fine.
And that is where I'm at.
Maybe if I can what we can do is always like elaborate on concerns, and maybe I can give you information you previously had, and whether that changes your interpretation or not. But you know the experience that you had when you watched it,
and that's what I felt. Miffed. Just meh.
So I mean, that whole walkthrough was obviously to get to some of the issues. So who didn't you like by the end?
I didn't like Saul by the end.
And why was that?
Just because I was like, man, you suck, bro.
Because of what he did?
Yeah, you just suck, bro. Not that he's a bad character.
Well, do you not think that you were led you were led that way by the narrative? I'm not saying the narrative wants you to hate him, but like the narrative obviously does. But like, hey, Saul did do bad shit. So do you not feel like the show led you in the direction, like an intentional direction? Yeah.
Aye, I'm just saying like.
But you're like, still fuck it though. I wish he was cool.
Absolute ass Jedi, one of the worst. I like May more. She lost me with a twist. I wasn't buying it. I feel like there is I don't know what it is. There's something more than we can remember that threw me off for a bit. But she's still better than Osha, because I just think, where was like my issue with Osha? She was just very like fine up until she had to like become part of the plot. Seriously, like she was just sort of along for the ride until, oh shit, now's the revelation. I'm a villain now. And I must kill everyone. Cool, like getting her comeuppance and like killing Saul is good. It's like catharsis, and then obviously the turn makes like more sense than what I thought Maze was. And then obviously her quest now is to just like fuck up the Jedi, but I don't feel like she wants to necessarily fuck up the Jedi. It's just that she has to do it. She has to go with the stranger because May needs to be like protected. And I guess I don't know why May couldn't fucking just come with him, because I guess that's not allowed in the Sith. Like, you can't just have somebody else cut about.
Yeah, like the secret Sith and also her friend.
I guess, like, sure.
I think they also just wanted her to, like, just be away from it all. Like, she's already been through enough shit, so just let her fucking go off and live in some relative comfort and without this hatred in her heart.
But that's just never happened, because, like, the Jedi are gonna do some, like, sus waterboard techniques, I'd imagine, to, like, try and find us out. I think, like, yeah. Because I think season 2 looks more like like the Jedi doing like some extreme shit to try and put an end to this, and it obviously backfired. Like obviously the Sith win this battle. Obviously,
yeah.
Vernestra dies somehow.
Vanessa probably should die.
Or like is fucking off the board some way.
I guess you really probably need to kill everybody who actually knows it's a Sith.
Exactly.
Yoda is smart and can probably intuit shit, but
Yeah.
like he also wouldn't act on just sheer speculation. But like, if you get to it, and it's like Vanessa knows there's like a fucking dark side user and it's her fault. Like she probably needs to die unless she really can spin it off. But like I think Vanessa needs to die anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, that being said, that's
what's happening. Like,
don't know how High Republic book readers would feel about that.
we need to find out. Like, so obviously, the Stranger or Osha is training Palpatine, but who is that?
No.
Or is Palpatine coming in and fucking them up to then be trained by Plagueis?
So I think for season 2,
we need to see that at some point.
I think for season 2, I don't think Palpatine's on the board. First of all, because Palpatine's still a human. I know
Right.
Darkseid can live longer type shit, but Palpatine's still a human, and this is just too long
we're
before
like
it for him to be there.
40 years away for that.
No, bro, we're 100.
60.
We're like 100 years away from
Aye,
that.
before he's like
so
involved.
Palpatine's like 60, 70 and Phantom Menace, I guess. So
Before he's like involved.
aye, I mean, like, yeah, like 20, 30 years from the end of the Acolyte, Palpatine is a baby.
Like, when does he kill Plagueis?
Not that
Like,
long before
in the Clone Wars?
Phantom Menace. No, Plagueis is dead by then.
Okay.
He's dead by the Phantom Menace.
But he bankrolls the Clone Wars. When is that
Well,
set
not the
in
Clone Wars, he
motion?
bankrolls the clones.
When's that set in motion?
I can't remember the exact
Sifo
date.
Dyas goes and gets the shit, right?
But yeah, Sifo Dyas does that like before the Phantom Menace. To be honest,
And
the
is
trailer-
dead by then?
Yes. Yeah, because
Or is he dead in the
basically
Clone Wars?
Dooku, I think Dooku was still at the temple. Or no, I think Dooku had already started to like fall to a degree. Or no, it wasn't even Dooku, I think it was actually Palpatine. Just because Sifo Dyas was running at the temple being like, there's issues, there's gonna be like a war on. I had a fucking future vision that there's gonna be a big fucking war, and all the council were like, fucking dickhead, warmonger, what are you fucking talking about? Calm the fuck down. So they dismissed him from the council because they said, oh, you're a warmonger, like war isn't real. I think Palpatine was about like, what's he thinking about?
Yeah, Dooku, what you saying, bro?
And Sifo Dyas is the one who goes to get the clone army.
Yeah.
Originally, he's like, I think we should do this.
Mm.
And then Palpatine's like, hey, Master Plagueis, like, this could be interesting. Plagueis like, this could be fucking interesting. So Plagueis, I think they basically lead Sifo Dyas to go to Plagueis' human persona, his like Emperor Palpatine persona, which is like, he's got a name and everything, but he's just like, oh, I'm like a guy who works at the Galactic Bank, I've got power in the bank, I can give you like a loan, do you want a loan? I can give you some money. So they get money into Sifo Dyas' hands to commission the army.
Right.
And then they kill Sifo Dyas and the army's been
Yeah.
commissioned.
Aye.
And they sort of assume direct control.
Uh-huh.
And then Count Dooku eventually gets worked in. That's it.
Okay. So, aye. I thought we'd maybe see some Palpatine-esque shit.
No, I don't think we will. I think my theory is that this basically Osha and the Stranger are going to like just get up to it. They're going to really try and dip and dive a wee bit. But I think Osha,
I guess I struggle though, because like, where is Osha's character going for here? Like, because I don't feel like she is fully committed
that's how I would say it. I think that's
to
what's going back to
destroy
the light.
the Jedi Order. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't think she's fully in that. Sure, she fucked up Soul, personal vendetta, but like, what stake does she have in like destroying the Order, like the guy does, like Stranger does?
Exactly. I don't think she's all the way there. I think they might sort of become closer, and that might influence her. But Plagueis himself will have to be like an influence, and I think it ends with Plagueis killing them both.
Right.
Or like them dying somehow. I think the slate has to be clean. I think personally Plagueis gets sick of their shit. Like,
maybe. I don't think he kills them both now. I mean, obviously the board's clear by the time we get to Palpatine.
yeah, exactly that.
But like, I don't think we do it yet.
Look at season 2 or like 3 or just like.
Well, I don't know how many. I mean, it probably won't get more than 2. I would imagine.
I think it only is 2 or 3, depending on what story Leslie's get planned. If she does have like a mass expansion or maybe like a House of the Dragon long floating timeline.
Well, maybe, but I just like the reaction to it wouldn't justify 3 seasons. I don't think, unless season 2's banger.
Aye.
I think the reaction to this has been middling.
I'm 6.5 because I'm struggling to find decent negative reviews.
Like, I think we're in the camp with the majority is like a 7, 6, 7.
I was going to say, it depends on, I think middling's maybe 2 hours. Like, it's just like a, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, look, that's
It was good.
That's what I mean. Like, it's just
Not
it's good.
groundbreaking. I mean, I don't think
okay.
it needs to be. But yeah, right. I think it
doesn't,
it's
but
like
like,
a bit like, yeah,
you know,
it's been here, it's been gone.
in the world we're in, with Disney being Disney they are right now, you would think they'd only be commissioning bangers from now on.
I think you would hope they commissioned Ahsoka season 2.
But was that already in the works before the change?
Before the show was turned out to be bad.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's possible as well, yeah. Although Leslie's had the plans for season 2. She's always said she's got ideas.
I think 2 is happening.
I
Probably.
think 2 has to happen.
It's not been greenlit yet.
If 2 is good enough, they can do a 3, depending on what she wants to do, essentially.
I just think, like, by the time 2 ends, there's still 98 years to go.
Yeah.
Like, after, I think he's probably got a few more things happening before that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I guess I feel like they might both die. I think it'd be like a level of tragedy.
Maybe. I mean, what else? Like, where else would Osha go? Would they just fuck off together into like the fucking outer rim?
Maybe they do have like that Sage Ventress, like she actually comes back to the good and then she convinces him to come be good. And
like, did they just do weird shit like that?
But they do have to have a confrontation between him and Vernestra as well, and how will that go down?
But then is it like...
Maybe he'll kill Vernestra.
I mean, I could see it maybe being like, right, I have got personal vendetta now, Vernestra, let's go fuck her up. And then Osha's like, you know what, I'll help you with that, I guess. Cool. And then
I'll
they're
put
like,
my
together.
master killed him, I'll help you kill your master who betrayed you.
And then they're just like, oh, that's us done now, let's fucking live on a farm or something. Like, I don't know. That's all I can think it. Like, I just don't know where it goes.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain myself as to the direction. I think there's enough there for it. Oh, first off, I think there's enough there where you don't even need... There's some stuff you'd like to know more about, but at least you can see how this is like the start of the spark that will lead to the Phantom Menace, like the way the Jedi are.
That's the most... Yeah, that's definitely the biggest, like, through line. Like, the rest of it, I'm not sure, like, how... I don't know.
Yeah,
it's probably not meant to, like, be relevant to what the Phantom Menace is, obviously, but...
Yeah.
That's, like, definitely where you see it begin.
No, definitely. Oh, alright then. So, yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else to add on for there. I'm trying to think if we deliberately left anything out.
I don't know.
I said to put a pin in something earlier, but I think I did talk about it, but I forgot to unpin it in that way, so now I'm just like, there's a pin in my head. I think it is maybe fortunate for me or opinions type thing, but I will say...
It's always that.
I think, this is still good enough. It's better than Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. Like, I'd rather get more of these.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's something going on there.
Listen,
enough.
man,
It's still interesting.
I would rather have 6s and 7s than, like,
2s.
The occasional 4. Do you know what I'm saying?
Literally. Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. I'll take the little ones if they're little. I'm happy to just have it be decent.
Yeah.
I do think there's a season 2. I think there's still a lot, and it's shown that it can say a lot, which I like. I like characters talking, having relationships and shit, which I had in spades. So I'm happy for that. Yeah.
Damn.
I think that's that. I don't know, did we shift your opinion at all, or did we sway you in any way?
Shift it. I think I like me a bit more. Talking that out.
I like
but that's
more
really
well,
that's really about it, I guess. But May's like just a non-character now at this point. Like, she's just like reverted 10, 20 years.
Well, possibly. It depends on the level of what's happened as well. Like, did he proper delete those fucking enemies for good, or do the Jedi, as you say, at Guantanamo?
And even if she's Guantanamo, like, what do you do with her then? Does she go and like try and fight them? Like, obviously she can't convince Osha to come back now because Osha done it in the first place.
That's
like,
think.
I don't know. I feel like they've written themselves into slightly bit of a corner, and that would be interesting to see where we go for there.
I know, because the thing is, Leslie has a plan, so it's about like, right, well, you know what you've done then in this finale, so surely you know what you will be doing in the next episode.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, time will tell. Will we ever see season 2? Who knows? It's not been greenlit yet.
D23, let's go. Not got long. It's this weekend, actually.
It is tomorrow.
Come on.
The 8th. I'm sure it starts.
I'll take
the 8th.
a season 2. Would you take a season 2?
I would, just to see what happens now.
You've done enough. I like that you've donated enough that you're a bit like, right, well, just to burn it down. Like,
aye.
Same way fucking like Garfield costumes.
Like, what other shows would I like? Skeleton Crew, like, it is interesting, I guess, slightly. It's what time's that in?
As a thing.
What era is that in?
Skeleton Crew, I'm pretty sure we think is Mandalorian in it because it's got Vader in it.
Right.
Season 3, Mando.
So that's between 6 and 7.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. We've explored a bit of that.
Yes.
I would like more High Republic specific or post 9 shit would be pretty cool. Man's asleep. Man is asleep in front of me.
Can you repeat the last statement?
Yes, I would like more High Republic specific stuff.
Me too.
Or post 9.
Post 9? Oh god, man's going for the Ray movie now.
Not even that. I mean, that is dead in the water, as dead in the water as can be, probably.
I don't think it is. I think they actually are still working on it, which is weird.
Why? We should just like do something new and just see what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the state of the galaxy looks like. Can we just not do Republic again? Oh my god, another First Order again.
I know.
I would be a bit sick of that.
A fascist dictatorship again, because we had that one and then we had a whole thing about beating that one. Republic might still be the name depending on the period.
Aye.
You know how well it works. Old Republic's obviously that classic one. Fucking.
If we go some of that, get some of the ideas for that maybe and throw it in. I don't know, man.
I do just want to see more new stuff. Yeah, I mean,
because
I love
like even
the High Republic.
pulling the Legends shit out is new stuff to us. A lot of us.
That's true, actually.
And obviously some of them had great ideas.
Some
So
of them.
pull it in, bro. Come on.
No, I know. Well, I'll take it as a good sign then. They made it
Yeah,
at least a strong, good show, and it was like a good proof of concept as well. It was completely different from traditional.
Aye, like listen, you can't like obviously John and Dave had like saw him cooking with Mando, right?
Yeah.
And
Allegedly.
Andor was made to succeed in every way.
Of course.
So if we finally found like some sort of person that could write a decent show, which is what this is, like good.
Just Leslie, keep making shows, please. You're able to make
we done it.
sevens, you know what I mean?
Aye.
That's what we need. We need sevens in the mix.
Like, is this Loki quality? No. Is this Moon Knight quality? Yeah.
I like Night.
I know. I like Moon Knight too.
No, I'll take that again in the face of the losses.
Aye. Star Wars has had a lot.
Star Wars has had a lot.
It needs a W. And this I'd
Skeleton
say
Crew is allegedly coming in
minor W.
November. Do we think that'll be any good?
potentially. Why not?
I'm concerned. I don't know if it's like it's just a story of kids. So I'm like, I don't know how much I'll want to be involved. Although I don't know, it should still be alright.
Aye, man. It's Star Wars. You
Star
will be
Wars.
there.
Yes, that is true. I will be there no matter what.
Exactly.
Well, is that us then?
I think so.
I was gonna say you were the one on the hot seat today, so
I was in the hot seat. My ass feels hot.
no questions, no remaining concerns that you haven't made your peace with.
I don't think so.
That's completely fine if that's you done.
I think so. Until season 2, maybe.
Until season 2, and we'll come
Perhaps. Maybe I'll just rewatch the show and come back to you next week and be like, what are we talking
We'll
about?
do this whole shit again, but yeah, you definitely need to
What are we doing?
watch some bits of it again. A bit like, how did you even get that? But
A wee bit.
I won't hold you to that, of course. Although
Thank
I
you.
might see if I can find that fucking Vanessa scene, because I know she calls him
That's fine,
my
man.
apprentice.
I mean, that is
Point.
what it is anyway, so that's fine.
That's fair, yeah. Oh, yeah, we worked a hard shift, which I worked a late one actually.
There you go.
So we can wrap it up here then. Thanks very much for joining us on another Star Wars thing. The war's taking its toll. We've been live on the field for like 3 or so hours.
That's
so
it, aye.
Star Wars we've lost the Star War.
We have lost the wars in the stars.
We lost the Star War.
Bro, it was meant to happen.
Oh man, fuck. Oh, it's over. War is over.
Bro.
I get to go home. I get to go to my bed. I get to sleep. I'm in my house. My bed's in the next room, but you know how it is. Oh, well, thank you again. Thanks for that.
Thank you, Ian.
Good graft. You have a good night, and I hope all you guys listen have a good night as well.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Kisses.
Bye.
Bye.
Scenes is a fan-created podcast. We have no affiliation with any of the brand studios or properties mentioned. All views are our own.
Produced and edited by my partner, Rebecca. Music is provided by Epidemic Sound, and the cover artwork was commissioned by Rhiannon Kagoe on Twitter or Instagram.